Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome to episode 31 of the podcast here with the CCA. And I'm joined by all of my goats, all these really cool people that are around me right now. We got Fox, we got Rocky, we got Soples, we have the whole squad, dude. And we're going to be recapping the insane circuit finals from this past weekend, and really just the circuit in general, and also talking about a lot of the cool stuff that the gang here has kind of been cooking over the past semester, respectively. So, without further ado, maybe we should just get this podcast rolling, right? I'm sure we're all going to have plenty of things we're going to want to talk about, and I want to make sure we have the most time for that as possible. Does that sound like a good plan, everyone?
Yes.
I'm so down. I'm ready. I'm like hyped. Had my Baja Blast 1 hour ago. I'm like so prepped.
Let's rock.
Dude, the signature.
Fueled.
I was thinking about getting a second can so I could like rep the Baja Blast all the way through the podcast, but I ended up dropping the can on the floor. It's like sitting next to me.
That's so sad.
I knocked it over with my camera, but
Do you see the tears in my eyes right now?
I do.
I'm so sad.
I see like 5 pixels, I think, but
Yeah,
I think that surely
They're
that's
there.
normal.
they're there.
All right, so, I mean, as you may or may not know, we typically start these episodes off with a little bit of a fun fact from the week. I'm gonna go ahead with my fun fact. So I recently found out that Oma, as in like my name, OmaZen, it means grandma in like pretty much every single European language. Like all of them. Every single one of them. So when you say OmaZen, you're really saying Grandma Zen.
Grammy! Yeah, that's
Her
my
name himself
goat.
Chill Grandma.
Literally. I'm chill grandma, dude.
Aw. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's my fun fact. Oh no, anyone
Okay.
else want to head up for it?
I forgot to do my homework,
Okay.
so I don't have a fun fact. My fun fact, I guess, is that every single one of these posters, except for one, has fallen off my wall. One of these fell off right before we started. This one's about to fall off.
Tragic.
It is really tragic. And so we'll see if the rest of them make it through the night, because I just put them back up, but I would be surprised.
Nah, you're gonna get
Um,
jump scared, bro.
Yeah, my fun fact is this ominous IKEA rainforest wallpaper thingy. That I didn't realize until setting up the camera was as ominous as it was, but just I paid more attention to the foxes and you'll be fine.
I tried to do my homework and I really struggled with it. So I've got 3 facts. All facts about Rocky are sad. I've gotten really into showers lately, and I have $36 in my bank account. So,
You opened up commissions today, right?
yeah,
You should
yeah.
commission
Go
Rocky.
commission me at
Rude.
Splats Party, bsky.social. I need money. I have a mattress that's older than I am, and it squeaks cartoonishly loud, and there's cigarette burns and stains on it. I'm serious. Help. Help me.
Why is like every aspect of your life like a wet dog that just
My
got
shower
like
turned cold this morning. I'm a wet dog sat out in the rain. If I had a persona, it would just be a normal dog and it was wet.
No. Oh no.
a car drives by in the rain and splashes muddy water
Because
onto.
that happened to me when I got fired and I was walking home. It happened to me in real life.
No.
All facts about Rocky are sad. Anyway.
Anywho, okay, well let's talk about something hopefully not as sad as Rocky's current predicament. We have, I mean, I'd mentioned it earlier, but there is a ton to talk about. Like, we have like a whole semester's worth of stuff to sort of almost talk about, low-key. Not that we haven't been doing podcast coverage previously of the circuit, but We got our Division 1 winner here from VCU Big Fat Sea Cows Fox. We got our Division 3 winner here from Goomies, Sockz, and then we also have Soap, who is not a division winner, but Soap was pretty heavily involved in quite a few things here. Soap was like the main, like, I don't know, like you were the chariot driver, like you were the big gamer in charge of the Pick'ems, and the Pick'ems were like the coolest thing I think that like the CCA has ever been allowed to like put their name on. So like honestly, like props to you, my goat. Like literally the coolest thing ever, and we're gonna talk about a little bit more later. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, I'm gonna go ahead, take us through some brief CCA announcements and make sure we get some of that list out of the way. So first off, the CCA stats collection should now be updated, I believe, up to the circuit finals, and if it's not yet, it will be soon in its entirety. Hoken and Astrum from our stats team would really just like to thank everyone who has submitted stats for the circuit. For those who aren't aware, the CCA has a visualization of game stats for games going back all the way to Season 2 of the CCA League, which is really impressive. Personally, my favorite page is the team matchup page, which we frequently use on the production side of things. I believe it's also publicly accessible to you all at home too. And here on this page, we can educate our commentators and other players on certain team matchups, how certain teams, like typically percentage-wise, have certain win rates against each other. So if you're like, I don't know, Big Fat Sea Cows and Death Roll are about to fight each other, right? Like, what's their win rate on splat zones? Maybe that'll tell us something of what we can expect in that matchup. So just stuff like that. And you can find that sort of information and much more on Hoken's website at hokenhk.com/CCA stats. So be sure to check that out. Again, gotta plug the goat there. And then additionally, we actually don't have too much more to announce after that. This is the last collegiate event. This is an event. The podcast is an event. This podcast, episode 31, is the last thing the CCA is going to be doing basically for the rest of the year. With circuit finals now behind us, we are going to be all taking a break on the staff side of things, getting some much needed rest, just wrapping up some of the circuit information and all of those different works we've been kind of doing internally. And if you were like a winning team or someone else, you may be getting more information as well in the future. But without further ado, I also have one more announcement that I almost forgot to mention. This episode, at the start of this episode, and for the rest of the night, about midnight Eastern time, the CCA shop is going to be doing a 10% discount on all of our items with a special podcast only code. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop that in our chat real quick before I let that get away from me. And here that is for you all. And again, you can use this code for 10% off your order from the CCA shop. So really huge thing there. And yeah, really cool stuff. But yeah, there's a silly plug for the money. Let's go ahead and talk about the tournament now, why don't we? So, I guess before we do our formal recap, you all, like, is there anything that like really stood out to you about the circuit finals itself that like was either a positive experience or just something that like really stood out to you in general?
The production. Production.
I was about to say the same thing. I mean, not only is having a stream for every single division for both days really impressive, the quality of commentators across the board like just baffles me. Some of Sea Cows and Goomies did a little watch party of our each other's streams afterwards, and like I don't know how you guys do it. I absolutely do not know how you guys do it. Like this is incredible stuff.
Yeah, Nine-Hole Grades and Austin on that Division 1 stream, like watching that back, it was incredible. It was so entertaining. I can't remember the last time I've been that entertained watching a stream. Having people like Thelko, who are like known community members and like commentators, like streaming for like the Division 3 finals and getting to watch that back was really amazing as well. Like there was just so many, and I'm really glad that like even though it's not like the league season where teams can just like request that they get a stream for their match and hope that they get one, like every team was still able to be in the spotlight for finals across all divisions. It was incredible. It was such a huge event. It's what makes CCA special.
Yeah, I have to say, just like the hype was like unmatched. I feel like no event in the Splatoon community I've like been as hyped for as I was for Circuit Finals. Like both like the production, which we already touched on, but like completely top notch. But also like the format itself is so exciting, and like it showed, especially across all the finals days. Like sometimes you'll get a couple divisions that are kind of like, I don't want to say snoozer, but like that are like until like the last few games. Sometimes it's just like, yeah, it's kind of one side. Even sometimes like you'll see divisions that just go like all the way to the end, like one team just dominating. But like with this format, that just doesn't happen, and every single division is worth watching. Like it's just so hype.
It's too much at one time, honestly.
Oh my god, yeah.
A little bit, but
and these teams have like existed throughout like an entire circuit season. Like you've gotten to watch people's growth. You can recognize names from like different people who have placed in like different divisions, and like different people from the leaderboards who you've been stalking, or maybe like teams you notice that were like a challenge to you, or like one of your school's sister teams or something, and like see how well they're doing. Like one thing one of our other club members, the captain of Shadow Warriors, mentioned was liking that like even teams that you lost to, like the team that Shadow Warriors lost to before ended up winning their division, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm familiar with that team, like I know who they are. Like that's so exciting. Like you know the people who are winning these tournaments, you know the people who are placing in them just from familiarity from fighting them throughout the season or watching them. Like it's really amazing. There's so much hype.
Yeah, totally. No, that's something that, like, obviously, we're not, like, controlling those matchups or anything, right? But it's definitely something we try to keep in mind when, as someone who's, like, heavily involved in the production side of things with CCA, we try to keep in mind, and that goes into the commentators, too, right? It's like, if we can get Nine and Osti for that last set there, or last bracket session there with day 2, it's like, why don't we? So just... I mean, as someone who's on the kind of in the inner side of that, right? Like being able to help assemble that was like a really cool experience. And we like, I don't think we've ever cooked harder for it. Like the amount of staff hours that were collectively put in to making that happen is like, it's actually not funny, and it's borderline disgusting because none of us are paid for this, right?
Yeah.
And we do it for fun. Like there's a purpose for it. It's very much volunteer work at the end of the day, but the fact that like we're able to successfully pull off, 4 streams and everything, like that's something that you only see with events like, I don't know, the Olympics, March Madness, right? No, but like literally, I'm being it's kind of funny, right?
I thought you were about to go to like, yeah, like big productions, like the Splatoon championships and no, you went straight to
I'm gunning even the big guy.
even Splatoon Worlds only has 2 streams. I'm just saying, like,
I'm not.
I think low key we're better than the Olympics. Like, I have to say.
That's not even joking. Like actually better than Worlds. Like
yeah,
not a joke.
Yeah.
No, but like literally,
I mean, like, you got the commentator for Worlds. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's true. That's bad.
You are right.
I'm actually, it's so impressive. 32 commentators and all of them top notch. Like I couldn't even name like 5 commentators off the top of my head for Splatoon low key. Like, so finding 32 of them who are all goated in the way that they are, like, it's so impressive, man.
We stole like literally everyone except like, I don't know, just those token handful that couldn't make it. Basically, that's just what it boiled down to, some sort of coincidental conflict from their just personal lives. So yeah, freaking insane what was even able to happen there. And I'm glad to hear that y'all enjoyed it, because that was something we put a ton of work into. But don't want to get too stuck on that for too long. I think it's maybe about time that we also highlight some other people, particularly the ones that, also played in the event, right? We have a recap here of the tournament that was created by our lovely scripting team that we're going to go ahead and just walk through and kind of give some shout outs to everyone else as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off with Division 4, and then Soap, Sockz, Fox, you're going to take us through the rest of them, respectively. So let's take a go at it. So recapping Day 1, which was the Swiss stage of the finals. There were many upsets from their selected wildcards, with 3 out of the 4 selecting making it to Top Cut. Aside from these wildcards, though, the Top Cut was mostly populated by the highest-ranking Division 4 seeds, notwithstanding the notable upset of top seed Shadow Warriors. Unfortunately, despite putting up a good fight throughout Day 1, they were ultimately knocked out of Swiss during the very 5th round. Wildcard High Tide was one of the best performers overall in Division 4, exiting Swiss round 3 after not dropping a set, alongside also Clark Coy, who was another division team that didn't end up losing any sets. And High Tide was also a late entry to the circuit as well, notably, but they immediately made waves as they had attained top 8 during both of their qualifier runs. And also wildcards Push from Purdue and SSU Esports fared well, squeezing into Top Cut of the final rounds of Swiss alongside the Holy Snail. And SSU Esports had won qualifier number 2 of Division 4 in the past, proving them to be a wildcard to watch out for. And Push was also on a notable upwards trajectory, having gone from not making a bracket in qualifier 1 to reaching 4th place in qualifier 4. So all these teams who went 3-1 were highly seeded Division 4 teams, which includes the NCCLS Llamas, Drexel Gold Splatoon, and VCU Spirality. And then kind of recapping our Day 2 of the bracket stage, bracket was immediately dominated by NCCLS Llamas and the unexpected upsetter Push, who both experienced little difficulty on the way to their duel in winners finals. Many of these teams that secured higher seeding in Division 1 went out surprisingly early, with High Tide and Clark Coy notably getting upset in the early rounds. Push was able to upset the number 1 seed of Day 2 being High Tide, and the number 5 seed being VCU Spirality on the way to Grands, while the Llamas defeated SSU Esports and the Holy Snail. In winners finals, Llamas convincingly defeated Push 3-1, sending them down to losers finals. And then in losers bracket, we saw that there were some pretty similar teams that were able to dominate, both being SSU Esports and Drexel Gold Splatoon, who initially lost in their first round to both the Llamas and Spirality respectively. And Drexel and SSU ultimately met in round 3 of losers, with SSU taking the win after a close set. SSU then went to defeat Push in losers finals before rising up to Grands. Grands was a rematch between SSU Esports and the Llamas. Despite an incredible losers bracket run from SSU Esports, the Llamas ended up proving their mettle in a redux of the first game. SSU Esports was 3-0'd, and the path was cleared and the title of Division 4 champion. A very impressive performance from the Llamas, who only dropped 1 game the entire bracket. Really cool stuff. And we're going to have a comment from our division winners later, too. So look out for that as well. And then
Right.
Go ahead and take us through the next division, Rocky.
All right, it's time for Division 3, the coolest division. I have no bias. So, Day 1, the Switch stage. Many upsets took place alongside notable performances from wildcards, which makes sense as a wildcard committee had a difficult time choosing candidates due to many qualified teams ending up on their radar. Out of the 5 teams granted wildcards, 3 ended up qualifying for Day 2. 2 of these wildcards, UConn, Siberian Squids, and Turnpike, ended up with the strongest Swiss performance in Div 3, ascending to the finals quickly with a 3-0 record in sets. The final qualifying wildcard, Executioners, still put on a great performance, squeaking by round 5 with a 3-2 record after a super exciting set against the Seed 2 Champlain Seafoam that saw the Executioners pull off a reverse sweep in the win and in set to secure Day 2. Out of the top 8 seeds, only 4 ended up making it to bracket. Goomies, number 1, and A-State Black, number 6, fared well with 3-1 performances, while Table Terp Troop, number 4, and PSU Fish, number 8, managed to squeeze in round 5 with a 3-2 record. Our final qualifying team is HLG Gold, a team at seed 11 who performed about as well as Goomies and A-State Black, managing to exit Swiss round 4 and move on to the finals. Day 2, the bracket stage. Winners bracket, UConn Siberian Squids quickly proved themselves to be a threat as a number 1 bracket seed, promptly making their way to winners finals by defeating Executioners and HLG Gold. Goomies also arrived in winners finals, having defeated Table Turp Troop and upsetted Turnpike to get there. UConn ended up taking the victory 3 games to Goomies 1. In losers bracket, despite being knocked into losers bracket round 1, PSU Fish immediately began mounting a comeback. They slayed their way through bracket to losers finals, not dropping a single game against Table Turp Troop, HLG Gold, and Turnpike. Unfortunately for Fish, their streak came to an end when Goomies dropped in from winners finals, swiftly defeating them in losers finals to earn a rematch against UConn Siberian Squids. In grand finals, Goomies had another shot against the team that defeated them in winners finals. They hit back hard, resetting the bracket and claiming victory in a decisive 6-0. With this triumph, they earned the gold medal and became the Division III champions. I would know. I was there.
I appreciate you getting every single one of the fishes in PSU Fish.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could not be bothered. Like me personally, I would have just said Fish 4 the whole time. But I really respect the grind. I respect the grind.
No, if you respect the grind, respect the fish.
You guys must have failed elementary school if you can't count 4 fishes. Fish.
I will say, completely off topic, as I do sometimes. I remember when I was a kid, the first homework assignment I ever had was to draw a certain number of fishes, and I spent the whole night crying because I did not know how to draw a fish. So if you told me to draw 4 fishes, I will say historically I've had a lot of trouble with that. So
okay, so you are fish challenged is what I'm hearing.
I am. Yeah.
Alright, we gotta add something to the DSM-5 for you.
Oh no.
Okay. Division 2. Division 2. Let's move on. All right, Division 2. So starting off with the Swiss stage, there were not many notable upsets compared to seeding predictions. So first and third seeds, That's Dangerous and Towson Tigerfish quickly made it out of Swiss with a 3-0 record. Octos and Squids united Scarlet, Surging Sea, and Golden Barracudas were next, being 5th, 7th, and 14th seed respectively. Surging Sea's presence as a wildcard is notable as they quickly won their way out of Division 2 with the silver medal in Qualifier 1, while not having as explosive of a performance in Division 1. The wildcard committee chose to bring them back down to Div 2 as a wildcard due to their history as a prior victor, and they have certainly shaken things up so far. Finally, squeaking by in the third round are RIT Orange Kois, seed number 9, EAUCD, seed number 4, and Crab & Go, seed number 2. Moving on to the bracket stage, in winner's bracket, Surging Sea continued to prove their mettle as a top contender in Div 2 by upsetting higher seeds Golden Barracuda and Towson Tigerfish on their way to winners finals. Meeting them there was Octos and Squids United, the third seed who defeated Crab & Go, and EAUCD on their way to challenge Surging Sea in finals. EAUCD proved to be another powerful force this bracket in spite of their rocky start in Swiss, sending the number 2 seed That's Dangerous to losers bracket in the first round before taking number 3 seed Octos and Squids United to Game 5. They were sent to losers bracket, but not without a fight. Winners finals went all the way to Game 5, but ultimately Octos and Squids United proved to be the victor and advanced to grand finals. Going down to losers bracket, there were an interesting collection of seeds in this bracket, as round 2 of losers had matches between seeds 1 and 2 and seeds 7 and 8. Teams were knocked out of the losers left and right, with EAUCD quickly becoming a dominating force. They defeated RIT Orange Kois and upset Towson Tigerfish before reverse sweeping Surging Sea to enter grand finals. OnSU and EAUCD met again in grands after the former's victory in round 2. History repeated itself with Octos and Squids United winning grand finals in a 3-1 finish and earning their gold medal.
I'm sorry if you saw me giggling during that. I was remembering Soap talking about how she can't draw fish.
Dude,
and I started laughing.
You can't just shout something like that. It has implications.
I will give me credit. On the script, it says OnSU, like ONSU, for every single one, and I said the whole thing every single time. So I feel like I deserve a little bit of credit. It's just Fish. That's hard for me. Okay.
She's just Fish challenged. How do you play this game, sir? You know, maybe if this game wasn't
Squids,
Fish
it's not
themed,
Fish. Yeah.
it would be
okay.
good by now.
You see-
Nah.
Bro,
all right. Moving on to Division 1. Swiss Stage. I didn't play in this. This is a lot of new information to me. So notable upsets compared to their seeds. CSULB, Drexel Dragons, and very surprisingly UCF put up a valiant fight, but ended up barely missing bracket with a 2-3 record. They were 8th, 6th, and 1st seeds respectively. Mentioned to squeak into qualifiers at the last second, Arc Haley, the 10th seed, Splatlanders, the 7th seed, and USF Splatoon Gold, the 11th seed, defied their seeding expectations and got to the second stage of finals after decisive victories in the 5th stage of Swiss. Moving further up the performance ladder, most notable teams in Division 1 performed about as expected. UCSD Esports Gold, PSU Blue, they quickly won their way in the first 3 rounds. With VCU Big Fat Seekers and Old Bay Brigade right after them in round 4. Our 9th seed Death Roll also had a pretty strong performance, an unexpectedly strong performance in Swiss, qualifying in the 4th round of Swiss with a 3-1 record. Into the bracket stage, day 2. Honestly, this was the most hyped division. Absolute carnage. So many sets, so many upsets. I mean, the bracket looked ridiculous. Contrary to seeding predictions, Arc Haley and Death Roll ended up rolling a nat 20 on performance and knocked down top seeds left and right, ultimately meeting in winners finals. Death Roll took down VCU Big Fat Sea Cows, PSU Blue, while Arc Haley sent Old Bay Brigade and UCSD Esports down to losers. In losers bracket, perhaps even more insane, was VCU's legendary losers bracket. They did not stay on the ground for long, quickly defeating several powerhouse teams, namely Splatlanders, UCSD Esports Gold, and Old Bay Brigade, on their way to losers finals, without losing a single game on their way there. Arc Haley looked poised to end VCU's dominant losers bracket run, going up 2-0 in losers finals, but VCU stood their ground and pulled off the reverse sweep to get them to their awaited rematch with Death Roll and Grands. They did not lose a single game in the rematch, soundly resetting the bracket and confirming their win with a 6-0 sweep, snatching the gold medal from the jaws of defeat. Something not mentioned by the script here is Death Roll absolutely defying their seed, going so much further beyond. I remember early in the season in entrance exams, Death Roll sort of, had a lot of eyes on them because they ended up having the best performance in entrance exams. And, they sort of kept in the back for most of the qualifiers, ending around, I think they had like a few 16th place finishes, 8th place. But for them to come to this final event and show their strength was really impressive to me. They were some of the coolest to watch there.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Sea Cows and Death Roll hadn't fought before this, correct? There's no matchup in any other qualifier.
I don't believe so. I could be wrong about that, but I don't believe we fought them.
I remember one of Death Roll's members saying something like that before the finals.
Yeah.
It was just interesting to me.
Yeah. I wanted to, after we finish all of our sections, go back and talk about some of the other divisions too, but I guess we'll keep going with Division 1 while we're here. Death Roll is a team that I want to shout out because so far in the qualifiers, like you said, they've had good performances, but never some like standout top 3, top 2 finish. And even on day 1, they had a pretty decent day 1, but they still dropped a set to Long Beach Gold, who's a solid team, of course, but they ended up going 2-3, so dropping to one of the teams that didn't get as far. I think there were some not questions about Death Rolls, but definitely the expectations were not top 3, top 2 for this team. So for them to just go all out on day 2 in circuit finals and just completely rewrite the narrative is like so impressive to watch. Another team I want to talk about is Arcaley. They're such an interesting team to me because they will always go 3-2, barely make it out of Swiss. Like they're one map off of not making it out of Swiss, and then they will place top 3 or even like top 1 they did in that one qualifier. So like they're consistently inconsistent, and it's so much fun to watch. Like actually this team is such a banger.
Fun.
They're literally
I would have been so upset. I would have been so upset if I didn't get to fight against them in finals. For those who don't know, my teammate Vessel is a teammate for Lunar Eclipse, just a team I do games with. Yeah, that's what you stuff with a team. No, my teammate Vessel's on that goated Zap player. Absolutely love that guy, and man, it's a fun team to watch and play against. That Carbon Roller's disgusting.
I am
Brioche
shocked.
was actually so good. I want to shout out Brioche because like they were on. I remember watching that game against Big Fat Sea Cows, and like on Mahi, Brioche was actually just going nuclear. Like,
oh my god, yeah,
gross.
I am shocked that the commentators did not catch the matching team tags in that set. I wanted them to say something so bad, bad.
They did everything else so well. I can let it slide.
Yeah.
But that was the matchup of all time. That was
No. Oh my god, it was.
I think I wanted on their Swiss because some people, I don't know if people missed this, but they went in round 1. Arcaley went 3-2 against Splatlanders as well, which is like they were a good team. They were a top 8 team, but also one of those like 4 to 8 teams, not podium teams. And they went all the way to 3-2 the very final round of Swiss, or 2-2 in the very final round of Swiss, and they had to go up against the number 1 seed UCF Knights to qualify. And they knocked out the number 1 seed. Actually, like massive. This like completely ruined so many people's pick'ems. By the way, just knocking UCF Knights out is like, I don't think anyone saw it coming. Like UCF Knights not making day 2 is like such a big like upset.
I think UCF Knights was like kind of inflated too, because I think they played almost every single qualifier, and they like very frequently made it to like the end. So like when people were looking at the leaderboard and they saw like the giant number next to UCF Knights, they just were like, oh, this is a team that like kept winning all the time. And to be fair, that you do get a lot of points from doing that, but it doesn't mean that like that's going to necessarily show itself in this very specific finals format.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
I will disagree a little bit with they played a lot of they were top of the leaderboard because they were a strong team that also played a lot, but from going against them, they were still probably like the second like going into the finals, definitely on VCU's radar as like the second most important team to look at. Like, do not look down on that. They are an absolutely goated team. It just took some crazy performances from Arcaley and all the other teams that upset them in day 1, and they still showed their mettle throughout the entirety of the season. UCF.
Yeah, was it qualifier 1? Oh, we got two.
I think we're about to say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So you go. There you go, man.
I was gonna say, if I recall correctly, it was qualifier 1 that VCU Big Fat Sea Cows got second place, going 2-3 against UCF Night Sharks. If I remember correctly, I remember watching that game.
I think that was qualifier 2. I don't think we played in qualifier 1.
Qualifier 1, I think, was the one Arcaley won.
Yes, that's right.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I forget because Big Fat Sea Cows, I don't know what y'all are doing.
The first,
I'm not on
the
the
first
team.
qualifiers were very interesting for Division 1, I have to say. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up.
This was the benefit, yeah.
Yeah, but I wanted to bring up UCF Knights' performance in qualifier 1 and 2. Honestly, all of their qualifiers, I think you might say that they're a little bit inflated. Like, I don't think I would put them at the top like they were on the leaderboards. They were number 1. But they were very consistently a top 4 team. Like every qualifier they won a qualifier, they got second place in another qualifier. Like I'm pretty sure this is a team that was consistently at the top of the leaderboards.
Oh, completely agree with that. Don't take my earlier comment as like anything like me dissing them, but no, absolutely. Like, I think like what we saw at the end of the circuit was like you had obviously like Big Fat Sea Cows, that is top 4 team. That is still one of the powerhouse teams. And you have like just like those mess ups that were able to happen through the Swiss format. I mean, I'm not involved in ops, but like as sort of the viewer perspective and a little bit of the production perspective of like, okay, what matches do we want to capture? That sort of stuff is like so fun to see because it's like, okay, there's like stakes on the line, right? Like this isn't like, okay, we have the people that are gonna steamroll everyone and then they're gonna like inevitably meet up and like one of them's just gonna beat out the other and we're all gonna go home and it's like, well, yeah, the big team won. That's not what happens because of the format, you know? I think that's fun. I think as a viewer, that's fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. It's fun. It's fun as a player. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
getting knocked down to losers bracket round 1 in day 2, and then our very next, like, you know, we fight Splatlanders, it's bad expected with the seed, and then there's UCSD. Oh, great. We have to fight them now. Like, not even close to finals. Great. Like, crazy.
Yeah, I think you have more to say about that match in some of our questions later, right, Fox?
Well, we will get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy with the format. Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah.
Sorry.
This is the chaos.
I do want to move us along a little bit because I did want to touch on a couple of the other divisions. Actually,
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, oh yeah. So do you have?
I was about to say the Ziller.
So.
I'm gonna leave.
So Division 2, I wanted to give shout outs. Obviously, Octos and Squids United, a very good performance. Completely, they didn't dominate day 2, but especially once they got to finals, like they showed a very strong showing. I don't know. I really don't think they were considered favorites coming into this, but they showed like they proved themselves to another level. I went back and I rewatched I did rewatch all of Division 2 on stream, or Circuit Finals, last night, because this was my section of the script and it was the only div that I hadn't watched and I felt bad. So I went back and I rewatched it and I was very impressed with the way they were playing. They're such a good team as a unit, which is something that sometimes you don't see in CCA teams that might play a little bit more scattered. They don't really play with each other. Mm-hmm. So I was very impressed with the way they managed to play together. Their special usage was really impressive, specifically around Tacticooler. Again, you see teams that like kind of just play Tacticooler because it's the meta, but I was very impressed with their ability to use Tacticooler to hold space, and as well as like use it as an actual tool to keep your pushes going, to sustain their pushes. And it really showed when they got a push rolling, they were very hard to stop. Another team I want to shout out, EAUCD. One, California bias. I will be glazing California teams at multiple times during this podcast, but I also do want to give them a shout out. Because they're always such a fun team to watch. Every single game they play. We talked about Arc Haley being like barely making it. EAUCD is the exact same way. They love the scoreline 3-2. They live with it. Like multiple 3-2s during Swiss, especially one against they technically lost this one, but they lost a 2-3 against UTD. That's dangerous. They then go 3-2 across the entire Swiss stage, go 3-2 against Octos and Squids United. I think they had another 3-2 against Surging Sea. Like, this team loves to produce bangers. It's like genuinely such a fun team to watch, and just like their ability to clutch up and to create exciting games is so awesome, and I'm glad they made it all the way to finals.
Yeah, I was going to shout out in Division 3, one of the crazy things about this format that I thought was super exciting was the wild cards. There was a lot of upsets, like was stated, like 3 like wild card teams qualifying for day 2 was insane. And as someone who was on the team that won qualifier 5, like some of these teams we weren't familiar with. Like we were like, okay, like we know Executioners, we know Fish. Like we fought them in qualifier 5, but like Turnpike and UConn Siberian Squids, we were not familiar with from like any qualifiers. We weren't like, I sort of knew of Turnpike because of like just knowing people in the community, but like really had not fought any of these teams and didn't know what to expect from that. So there's a little bit of nerves going into some of those matches of like, yeah, and like UConn Siberian Squids, like they knocked us out of winners finals. Like we had to do a bracket reset against them. It was really exciting, more so than if I was just familiar with everyone in the division already.
Yeah, UConn is a team I want to give a shout out to because I had no idea who they were coming into this division. I had not heard their name, to be honest. And for them to go undefeated in Swiss, not dropping a single map, there was only one singular person who put that on their pick'ems. I had like a huge shout out to UConn for their run, because I think I don't know. I don't think expectations were the highest for them, but they went and they delivered and they showed such a good performance across both days, to be honest. So shout out UConn.
Yeah, Goomies, we were sweating. We were sweating day 2 a little bit because day 1 we were like, oh, we dropped the game. Who are these teams going 3-0? This is a little scary. Oh, we gotta watch out for that. And UConn Siberian Squids definitely gave us a run for our money at one point. We had to lock in.
And then just the last couple of shout outs for me for Division 4. I wanted to shout out SSU Esports specifically because I think people were sleeping on them so hard. If you look at my pick'ems, I put them for everything. I had them undefeated Swiss. I had them qualifying day 2. I had them winning the whole thing. I believed hard in this team because I feel like I think they didn't get to play many qualifiers. If I'm not mistaken, they only played the one qualifier. And so I knew coming into this that people were sleeping on them a little bit because in that qualifier, they went completely undefeated. They went 4-0 in Swiss, not maps wise, but games wise or sets wise. They went undefeated in Swiss, 4-0, and then made it all the way to finals. They took the qualifier, and so this was a team that I knew coming into this was going to be strong. And day 1, they had a bit of a rockier start. I think they went 3-2 in Swiss. But you could just see them leveling up, getting back into the swing of things on day 2, showing up all the way to finals, which I think not a lot of people were expecting from them. So,
I actually have one Division 4 shout out. I really like Clark Coy. I don't have a ton of specific listed reasons, but I like Clark Coy. Every time I see him on stream, I tune in, I watch the stream, I like the stream, and I continue liking Clark Coy. That's all. I just really, I don't even know what school they're from. I like Clark Coy.
That's beautiful.
yeah.
So sweet. Who knew you had it in you?
There you go. I kind of wanted to shout out Division 4 team too. I'm glad we have so much Division 4 love here. Particularly Push. I'm showing my Purdue bias here. Push is one of 2 new Purdue teams to this semester. The other one is Mert. Mert ultimately did not play in any qualifiers. I don't know if they've even practiced once. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know the status of this team. I think they're watch them be a dark horse next semester or something stupid for the league. That'll be really funny. But Push, they started the semester off being in a really rough spot. They got obliterated the first qualifier or 2 they played, and then in qualifier 4, I believe, they were able to get a top 4 placement, and that was something that I don't think most people expected. That's something that, to be honest, I didn't even really expect. And I'm not too particularly involved with the Purdue crowd anymore, especially the newer people like Push, but I looking at some of the chats going on in the Purdue servers. I can tell that they've really been putting in the effort. They've been getting coached. They've been doing a lot of scrimmages with the higher teams like Bash, who was a standout in Division 2. I believe only narrowly missing out on day 2, I think. Might be wrong on that, but Push ultimately was able to upset Shadow Warriors. Shadow Warriors was a favorite for Division 4, I believe. They were completely obliterating everyone for a while there in the circuit in general, and then Push ultimately was able to keep upsetting a bunch of people. And again, this was a wild card team too, before I forget. They were seed 15 or something on the wild card, so they barely snuck in, and they were able to ultimately get 4th place overall, I believe, in the bracket. Only going down to SSU Esports in losers finals. That's insane. And SSU Esports was I believe a Division 3 team that ended up getting bumped down for wildcard. So that just kind of shows you, and they went 1-3 in that. They did put up a fight, and they had a really good run. So shoutouts to Push. You guys are the GOATs, and you're going to do a bunch of cool things, and you're only just getting started.
Shout out to Push for obliterating both VCU teams in Division 4.
Ending
they
both their
obliterated
runs.
Shadow Warriors and Spirality. I feel it would be wrong of me not to shout out our teams. They've been putting in a lot of effort. And I think it just goes to show maybe that Push has also been putting in a lot of effort because these teams have all been working really hard throughout the semester to get to the point that they're at. Getting coaching, doing God knows what is so busy in that VCU server. I can't keep up with everything everyone's doing. It's yeah, Fox
We'll
nodding.
get to it. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it, but yeah, congrats to Push as well, obliterating VCU. Maybe we'll have some rivalries showing up.
Maybe that would be fun, wouldn't it? But yeah, do we feel like we're in a good spot with kind of our recap of circuit finals? Did everyone?
Yeah, we
get
can
their
pretty
takes out?
I guess. I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could talk
I
forever.
want to shout
We all
out
know it.
10 more teams per division. I love them all.
I want to shout out every team that made the circuit finals because honestly, goated. Like
No, I'm
every
shouting
single
out
one.
shout out
every
every
team
team
that
that did circuit finals.
Did we just say the same thing, Fox?
Oh
Oh my-
happens.
Oh my god.
You change.
No.
Put them in containment.
I'm not. I'm the original. I was here first.
That is
I made you. I made you.
You told me not to play Explo. Get out.
Okay, it is true. We're not gonna get into that. There's
We'll
lore.
get there.
We'll get there.
Oh no.
All right. Are we ready?
Yeah, but so
I guess.
something that we do typically every season since the beginning of the podcast is we give the teams that ultimately won their division, whether it's the league, obviously, or I guess now also the circuit, the chance to have a comment. And they have mostly free reign over the creative decisions behind said comment. And the 4 division winners for this semester all made highly edited videos. I guess maybe except for like 1 or 2 teams, but 2 of the teams did make very highly edited videos. And we're gonna go ahead and play those and give them all a chance to give their takes. And I guess this is kind of up to you guys too. Like, do you want to have your mics on while this is going on? Do you want to like have a little bit of commentary, or do we just want to give the floor fully to these division winners?
No, let's just give the floor to them.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
they won. They deserve something,
Heck
right?
yeah. No, I
No,
agree
I'm gonna
with
talk over everything.
that.
It's my podcast. Nothing. Okay. Anyway.
All right.
Rocky
Yeah.
immediately disappears off screen.
Oh no. Okay, but yeah. See you all. We're gonna let this video play for like 8 minutes or however long it is. Goodbye. Okay, and then I'm gonna.
Hello, CCA, and hello, podcast. I'm Albie, captain of the NCCS Llamas, here at the Llama Base, the esports room for the Newmont College of Computer Science, and I'm here to talk about our team that is the victors of Division 4 CCA Circuit Finals. As the smallest college in the entire league, I am very happy about this result. I think it really proves that smaller organizations and smaller schools can really put in the effort and prove themselves and win. And I think that's beautiful. I really want to shout out specifically 2 players on the Llamas, Jake Akumu, who's our shooter player, and Riley Simpleclown, who's our pencil player. These 2 players had 0 Splatoon experience when they joined the team. They bought the game specifically to join the Llamas. And now they are division champions. I think that's proof more than anything that effort and working hard can really get you someplace in this league and in this game in general. Other members of the team, I want to shout out Eddie, who's our Squeezer player, Lily, who's our Slosher and Decapitator player, and also ran a lot of our VOD reviews. And I want to shout out Jaden, who's our Dreadringer player. And then there's me, Albie. I did a lot of the captaining stuff, and I am the main Inkbrush player here. And I really want to look forward to the spring season where it's looking like there's going to be 2 Newmont teams. So look out for that. I'm excited to look for the future. Look for all of us between those 2 teams. Who knows? Maybe you'll see some new faces on the main team. Maybe you'll see some old faces on the newer team. Talk to you all later, and go CCA!
Yo, I'm Rare, and I'm here to talk about my team Goomies run for the circuit. So we had a rough start. We also lost a member, but we also gained a member who was really solid. Shout out to Kari. We also missed a qualifier, which really tanked our score, and I wasn't even sure if we were going to make finals because of that. But we locked in for qualifier number 5 and won that division that we played in. For the practice leading up to finals, we didn't really practice much. we only practiced the night before, like 12 hours before the day one, and it was against a pickup from the plus 12 server. Shout out them. That's also where I figured out that I'd play Splash for finals, and like my usual weapon, Heavy Edit Nouveau. Yeah, for day one of finals, we had a really solid run, only losing to one team who didn't end up qualifying, unfortunately. So that gave us hope for a good day two. For day two, we had a solid run until winter finals, where we saw Siberian Squids and lost to them, unfortunately. But we came back in grands, switched our comp from playing Splash to Heavy Edit Nouveau again. Kind of countering their double splash comp, having a slower sort of comp to have better holds, also to have better range for me so I can get some picks off, and that ended up giving us a win. Yeah, shout out my team, you guys are awesome, and thank you for having me.
Hello, I'm Verde. I'm TJ.
I'm Big Gay, the one and only.
And we are OnSU, Scarlet, Octos and Squids United, Scarlet.
Three of us.
Three of us, yeah, the only three of us. The other two, can you give me the coroners notes, please? We have unfortunately, Okamu Adam has been banished to Arizona, okay? And Zoe has been ejected to Cincinnati. Our situation in CCA has been that we have been hard stuck Div 2 ever since the Earth was like formed. Right? We were up in that Div 2 like for real. And so this season we wanted to show CCA what we were made of, and we kind of low-key did that, to be honest.
What?
Just really cool.
This semester we got two new cooks in the kitchen. First of all, we took Zoe. We stole her from our grade team. She got too good. We had to steal her. It's really unfortunate. Thank you, Zoe, though. You are cracked. Second, we got our new monster newcomer, TJ, 2400 XP. Said he'd play anything. We forced him in bucket chill for a really long time. And then Forge got buffed.
Yeah, Forge!
Being new to the competitive Splatoon scene was really interesting. I learned a lot about just working as a team overall, and going from refining communication to basically working on my own mechanics and gameplay as well. I just spent a lot of time becoming aware of not only what myself was doing, but what others were doing around me and how to kind of play around that. But overall, I learned a lot through the experience and managed to really improve a lot this season. So I think that next semester I'll keep doing that and keep getting better with these folks.
DRF, bruh. You know what to do.
Huh?
Put us in Div 1 like...
What?
Hi, I'm Minnie. I'm the captain of Big Pick Ems, and we're so happy and excited that we finally won a CCA Division 1 thing. It's been a blast to be part of. I'd like to thank everyone who's been cheering us on and supporting us since we became a team in Season 3 of CCA. Going from a CCA Div 4 team to all the way to being a top dog and CCA has been a fantastic journey. I would like to thank any past members who've been part of the team, and especially our current members, Turtle, Lux, Wyatt, Fox, and Havoc, for being on this journey. I'd especially like to thank Fox and Havoc for joining us this season, because without them, we wouldn't have been doing CCA Circuit because due to scheduling, but we're so glad to have them on. For next spring season, I'm hoping we can also win, but as it's Toto and I's last CCA season, but if not, I'm glad I get to experience CCA with this team I have. Go Ems!
All right. Hello.
I love to be unmuted.
Mm-hmm.
It's my
Yay.
favorite thing in the world,
Yay.
I'm
actually.
free! I'm free! I'm finally free! Oh my god. It's been so hard.
The Octas and Squids United video, I have to say, I went hard.
No, that was a fire edit.
Raw edit.
No,
Actually, Rare,
it's
shout out Rare too, by the way.
Yeah,
That video.
Rare
I don't know what a single word
you know what?
you said, but the Subway Surfers gameplay, that shit had me hooked.
The
No, you know what? I'm a hater. I'm a hater. You should have restricted that guy more. No, like get your teammate in line. You can't have this running around.
Oh my god. You know what? This is why. Anyway, Rare, I liked your video. I'm glad I gave you creative freedom. You're my goat. I love you.
What's so funny is Rare in like the whole DM we had to like sort out the just Rare making the video. Rare ultimately sent me a completely different edit of the video that had the funny background with Subway Surfers and everything removed with just like a boring VCU background. And I was like, Rare, you're my goat. I'm just gonna choose one of these and put one of them on. And I looked at both of them and I'm like, okay, one of them Subway Surfers brain rot everything. The other one is VCU campus background. And then I deleted the VCU campus background one.
Basically, you're an accomplice here.
Yeah. No, I think it's
Okay.
based. I also have severe brain rot.
Yay. Yay.
On
Thank you,
a
Oma.
slightly more serious note, I did want to say I'm very excited to see what NCCS Llamas is cooking up for next semester. They mentioned they had a second team coming in. And they also mentioned something I didn't know, that they're actually like a super small college. So as an IBC person, I don't know if you've ever seen IBC campus, bro. There's like 3 classrooms maybe in total. So like, as someone who comes from a small campus, not actually, that's like a hyperbole. But
Okay.
but there's actually very few classes. We're tiny community college. We're a 2-year school. So like, as someone who has tried to build like programs at that in that tiny environment, it's really cool to see what they're building, and I know the challenges that come with it. So to see them building up another team too is really exciting, I think, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
Don't disagree at all there. I think the growth in general you've seen, like, I think the Splatoon competitive community's maybe been on a bit of a downturn, for better or worse, maybe the past several months, but the collegiate community, despite everything, is still like notably growing. I believe in season 5 of the league, we had about 130 teams playing ultimately, like that actually played out each week by the end of it and didn't ultimately leave or drop at some point. And with the circuit, we hit 150. So despite, having a bit of an abnormal format compared to what people were maybe used to before, we still grew by roughly 20 teams. Obviously, some teams maybe didn't show up, and you had a few more new teams on top of that. But just, like, the growth that's still been able to, like, come into this scene is, like, ridiculous. And just everyone being able to, help grow their scenes, invest in them, and make these opportunities possible is like also really exciting. So I don't disagree at all there. Seeing the growth is amazing.
150 is huge. That's a huge number. Oh my.
To pull through an entire season too, or just even to show up, to get people from your college in real life, find people in real life who play this game and want to do it competitively. That's hard. It's
really hard.
So that's crazy that the CCA community is able to pull that off. It's amazing. And you're trying to find 4 people to play the game with online.
I won't say who, but I have a friend who I'm trying to work with him to get him to get a Splatoon team for his school and get him in the CCA. But there's a lot of challenges, and a lot of teams know this. A lot of schools know this. It's not easy to put the sword, get enough players, get enough community, get enough support, get enough time. But if you can get the fact that we have that many is just amazing.
Yeah, huge shout out to all the club leaders and organizers out there who are putting in the work to make this happen. You guys are the goats. I'm lucky that I just fell into this club, because putting it together, I could have never even dreamed.
Yeah, no, a lot of work gets put into it. I remember, lore moment, Mizuno was one of the main founders of the Purdue scene, and I remember being a tiny scared freshman, especially when I joined the club. It was like during COVID when there was like nothing going on, and I remember like it was a club fair day, but the club fair day was over Discord instead of a field, you know. And I joined the Discord call that had Mizuno and Magic 8 Ball in it, and I'm like, hey, what's this club about? And they're like, oh yeah, we're like Splatoon people. I'm like, oh my gosh. And we yapped for a little bit, and then I ended up joining a collegiate team, and it's just history from there. But the fact that like we have like 150 teams worth of people to prove that that's a thing possible across, I mean, the country, I think also Canada too. Like, this is technically international, sort of, kind of. It's crazy.
We need to get more. We need to get more.
I got a heat stroke the first club fair that I ever attended. Or almost. I was like seeing the light and I had to leave early. But I think that's when Fox joined. So we got Spirality out of that one. And then the next club fair.
This is the first time hearing about this. Like,
really?
I knew you looked a little haggard, and I know it was a little bit hot that day, but man, really out here sweating it out.
I only had one t-shirt, and it was a black Tenatech t-shirt, and I'm like, I need people to know that I am Splatoon. I need them to know, so I'm gonna stand out here in like 90-degree heat, no shade, black t-shirt to see if I can find like enough nerds to keep this program alive, because Goomies was gonna explode and die, and like, yeah, and then we got a bunch of new members. We got enough to make a Spirality, and then doing the same thing. Luckily, I had Fox to run around and get me boba during the next club fair, so I didn't explode and die. We got
That's good.
Shadow Warriors out of it. But yeah, it's hard work. It's hard work.
Yeah.
Big shout out again to everyone who's ever ran a club, just in general. Like, that's insane work. Props to you. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on and talk about some more moments from members of the community with our clip discussion. So we have a few community picks that came from the Circuit Clips channel that we wanted to highlight. And then I believe most of us also have a personal clip that we wanted to share as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at that. That sounds good with y'all.
Can you make sure we can see these?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I will share my screen. That is a fantastic point, because that's very important.
I think we should just imagine it in our heads.
Imagine it in your head.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
manifesting a clip right now. No, but can anyone else imagine Splatoon perfectly in their head? Because I can. I can see it perfectly in my head, not joking.
All right. But,
Oh, that's me.
no way.
Oh, that was me.
I don't know if I believe you.
There's me.
Yeah. I didn't realize my name is covering like half my face. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh
been
my
like
god,
that.
no
I
one
think-
can see glimpses.
No.
Oh yeah, I was able to see Olympus. See, I anticipated this, and I made sure none of my guys would be covered.
Yeah, everyone.
Oh,
can
for a
see
second I
your
thought you were gonna be like, I actually plotted to cover up Glimpus because I hate him.
I don't like
Because
him.
you
I don't like
you seem like that against me all the time. I don't know what your problem is. You hate little
Actually,
green aliens.
no. I don't like little green aliens, but I actually like Glimpus a little bit. Glimpus is okay. Glimpus gets a
It's
pass.
because you've been prolonged exposure to Glimpus. His goo has infected your brain, so you must like him.
Clips.
Clips, that's right, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Clip it.
Chat,
Imagine
clip
this
that
is the
moment.
thing everyone's been waiting for, and we've just been like putting it off.
Mhm.
An hour and 10 minutes later, they're like, finally, bro. They stopped talking.
All right, so
I just want to see some Splatoon.
we're gonna go ahead and actually also commentate over these. So unfortunately, some people might get roasted. They might get I don't know. Maybe we'll applaud them. I don't know. But our first clip is from Day 2 of Division 4 Grand Finals. It's the Llamas versus SSU Esports. And we're going to be looking at the player POV of Albi from the Llamas. The description they paired with this was 1 pick, 2 pick, red pick, blue pick. So let's see what on earth they meant by that. And let's get this clip rolling. And by the way, there's no audio. So,
All right.
just want to get that.
That's fine. We
Holy.
didn't have audio
Brush
anyways.
moment?
Brush moment.
Yeah.
Going to the other side of the map. Bro is
Beautiful
everywhere right now.
bomb.
I don't know how
Beautiful
brush players
shark.
do it. Like, I don't know how they mash.
No, brush players are insane.
No, I think there's something. What do we think is wrong with brush players that makes them able to do this? I think that, like, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Put them in a room, study them.
Yeah, no, I think we need to put them in a laboratory because, like, what the hell? Why is that allowed? Who gave them permission?
You gave them permission to beat us cracked? I don't know.
No, literally. That is illegal behavior. We're taking your controller. No more. You're going to be put on bamboo for the rest of your life. Good luck.
Honestly,
I know they're Div 4, but CCAS has a particular issue with like sharking weapons. This would actually scare us. Like not even joking.
Yeah.
Your day's
So what
fine
you're
and then
saying
rush.
is everybody, if you ever
Div 1
fight
teams, take
CCAS,
notes.
Div 1
Take
team,
notes.
take notes. Take notes.
No. Actually, cut the stream.
If you want insider info on Big Bad CCAS, I will sell them out to you. Contact me on Discord and give me money, and I will make sure you win. I'll take them out.
I don't have any insider information, but if you want to contact me and give me money anyways, I'm always down for it. So, but yeah, I mean, shout out to Albie for this play though, for real. Like, actually, like, I love the way after they get this pick, they come to help their teammates first of all, which is awesome, and then just like the way they play this choke point and like manage. They play a little bit slowly at first, and once they have their window, they know they can take this top left, and it's just so strong. And just taking advantage of the map and like using their high ground here, especially as like a brush player, it's really annoying to challenge a brush who's on high ground. Just like they play this out so beautifully, getting picks all around the map, like being annoying like a brush is. So
yeah, absolutely, and it's wonderful when you can tell. Anyway,
I can tell SSE Esports' comms had to be something along the lines of, oh no, he's at these two places at once. Like
brush on left, brush on right, like
yeah,
or like when your teammate calls someone's on left, and then you look and you immediately see them on right, and you just like you think they're capping.
Like, neither of you were wrong. No, neither of you were wrong.
No. Bro was playing mind games, but yeah, I love when you can see like a player responding to comms in a clip. Like it's wonderful. It's like, okay, so you're not just goated at the mechanics, like you're goated at the teammate.
You're just the goat.
Yeah, goated at the teammate. That's surely the correct phrase. But yeah, like that, it was smart backing off from that Hydra there, like knowing you can contest it, but still being annoying and just like playing to keep that pressure up. And honestly, I feel like it really shows that sometimes playing to stay alive means that you will also be getting fixed. You don't have to die for it. You don't have to agree. Like, this is beautiful brush gameplay here.
For real. We still have quite a few clips to go through, so I'm going to go ahead just move us along to the next one if that's all chill. But yeah, our next clip is actually, I believe, of Fox. So Fox, you're probably going to have an interesting comment here. In particular, this is day 2 of Div 1 Grand Finals against Death Roll. And the noted description was triple splashdown living up to its name, followed by decisive Explo 1v1. So let's take a look at what happened here.
All right, so time to talk shit.
No, I would never. Not about my goat.
I would.
No. I do remember seeing this absolutely like crazy play. Like Death Roll had like a pretty good start to this play, but just like being in the perfect position. I don't know if they were all chipped or if the splashdown radius is just that crazy, but like
I looked at that. I looked at that. Only like one of them was really chipped. It was just that I think 2 of them had just jumped in, and so they were a little disoriented. So it was like they didn't have the read on their surroundings that they would have if that were taken a little slower. And shout out to Nico Chico, bro is absolutely the better Explo. Like hands down, there's no question. I know this is like, you know, a really good 1v1 I took against him, but I think I lost, like, not even joking, every single other 1v1 with him. This was the single instance in which I won something. Actually goated. Actually, like, they're way too goated. I'm scared.
I wish I could react to this clip like I'm surprised, but unfortunately, immediately after finals, Goomies went and watched back a lot of the stuff with two members of CCALS, one of them being Sockz, who probably made us watch this back like 800 times on the stream. So like it's a pretty cool clip, but it's worn out. It's worn out. It's a good clip, but it's worn out because we're just like, oh, look at that, look at the camera angle. Vapor knew.
Oh no, that was Lux saying that. That was Lux saying that.
Well, both of you guys. But yeah,
you were thinking it.
Yeah.
I was thinking it. That's fair. You caught me there.
Yeah.
No, the splashdown plays are dirty though. Like the other night I was playing against I don't know if you guys know what PSL is, but I was playing in a PSL match with my PSL team. And it was against Elixir and Cyan from Sparkling Sea. And Cyan pulls out this freaking like blaster with the freaking splashdown on it. It keeps splashing down me, like literally targeting me, she's going out of her way to find me. And keep splashing down me, and I feel like that's what it feels like. Like, I don't know, it's just stuff like that. It's like, hi, you can't play the game anymore, and we're actually gonna like recap the zone that you were trying to push us on.
Just when you think you're safe, someone runs at you,
literally, and deletes you from the game.
Yeah, and it's always these slower weapons, and you're like, oh, they're running at me. I got this. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
Indeed. So that's gonna go ahead and do it for our 2 community clips, but I also want to pull in some other clips as well. Particularly, I wanted to showcase a clip. This one being from day 1 of Division 4, round 2. It was the High Tide versus High Tide Terps, and the POV is from Lime from High Tide, and they said that we're moving the tower with this one. And who let this goofy charger cook? I just thought it was funny. I like funny clips. So I wanted to go ahead and show this one. And I'm actually going to turn on the sound for it because they went out of their way to like add some sound. So hopefully I'm able to get that play here.
I can't hear the sounds, but I can imagine them in my head.
That's what matters.
This is what it feels like being a squad player.
Like, cannot hit their shots. Like, literally throwing all of these.
Hey, if it happens at the end, like, it happens in the end. Bro didn't die. Bro eventually got that kill. It might have taken a little bit, but, you know, nothing bad happened. So, you know what? It's okay. You know, Treasure Player's secret is... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing the scoreboard doesn't show is the pressure, right? Just look at the amount of pressure they're exerting here on the map. That's what matters.
It's not whipping, it's pressure. This guy's scared.
Exactly.
This guy's so scared right now. Alright, it's the intimidation factor.
I had the deep-rooted primal urge to applause after they got this pick.
Why didn't you?
I'm so glad. I thought it might be a little rude. I didn't want like, to be fair. I know this pain. I'm a pen player. I've tried to pick up leader. It is nightmare hell dimension gun for me. I can't do it. This happens all the time. I feel like a fraud. I feel like I need to quit.
It's because you are a fraud.
I don't know how you did this in a set. This hurts me.
It happens to the base of us.
I think this player would really cook hard on like exploit.
I think YouTuber, personally.
YouTuber?
Yeah, maybe that's just me.
I think you should be forcibly kicked from the college.
I think that we should give E-Leader a hitbox that's as big as a Zuka. And it still has the same range and does the same thing.
That's just a Zuka, but it's a little slower.
Yeah, but it's a Zuka forever. Forever Zuka. The forever Zuka.
I think they should give it Stingray range, personally. And then it should go through walls. And have like an AoE hitbox on the outside.
It's just in the game permanently forever, the entire match, the whole time. I think they should let us cook for Splatoon 4. I think we got this.
Real.
What do you guys think? Vote in the comments. Should E-Leader be the Forever Trizuka, or should it be the Forever Stingray?
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to Fox's clip. So Fox, you had a goofy moment you wanted to share. Let's go ahead and
Yeah, so this is just watch this Nautilus, and 3, 2, 1, presto, teleportation.
There was a DC there too.
Yes. This was one of the it was the sploosh from the stream's perspective. You can kind of see him on the top right there, just sort of spaced out. But this is one of the craziest like DC effects I've ever seen of just like instant teleportation. It looks like actual hacks.
It's straight up like reality bending. It's like one of those moments where you realize you really are not playing the same game as somebody else. Like you might think you're all in the same game. No. You were in the wrong dimension. Reality just set in, and it's this.
Was what was this? This is one of the. This was on day 2 of finals, and it was against Old Bay Brigade. I remember, and they just have this disgusting comp, but to have this game get cut short, like. I think I'm pretty sure Old Bay would have won in the end, but like
probably
seeing and a blob on the other team, it feels like they did conjure a spell to bring about this hex upon the other team.
They're maximizing the lag machine.
People are always complaining about Rainmaker. They're all like, oh, we should do zones only. Maybe they really just need to get more experimental with their comps. This is the solution, you guys. Be open-minded about other game modes. Teleportation is always the solution. Yeah, Blob and Sploosh, you just gotta get creative with your weapon picks. There's a different secret meta for Rainmaker that you guys just aren't tuned into. But Old Bay Brigade, they know. They figured it out. Look at this. Unreactable gameplay.
Flawless. So fast they couldn't even see it.
Light work, no reaction.
Light work, no reaction.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next time you're playing Rainmaker, maybe pull out the Blob and the Sploosh, and some magical things will happen for you.
Literally. No, completely agree there. Or just like have a team member that like has actually non-functioning Wi-Fi, but to the extent that like they stay connected to the game. You know,
they make other members.
You want to disconnect. Clearly, you want to disconnect right here, when you're about to score. That's the most important part, I think. A little pro tip for Rainmaker fiends. The doctors don't want you to know about this one.
It's like a little button that you press, and it's like lag bomb, lag bomb, lag bomb, lag explosion. It's a new strategy. Everyone's talking about it. Haven't you seen?
I haven't.
Well, I guess you're out of the loop then, Oma. You need to check your blue sky.
This guy hasn't watched ProChar's newest tier list video. He has like, it's like pen, and then it's like disconnecting right as you're scoring the Rainmaker. Like.
I'll
have to watch it then. That sounds like heat. Sounds like fire.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not ready for this new disconnect meta, you guys. It's not going to be any good. I'm gonna, we're all gonna be thankful. We're gonna miss the days of Zuka meta. We're gonna miss the days of 2 splashes and 2 machines. Like after disconnect meta sets in. Well, it's because you're crab.
Yeah, machine. My first 2 5-stars.
Oh, I 5-star machine. That was my first one too. Let's. I was gonna say let's make out, but I think maybe let's high five is there.
How about instead let's move on?
Good segue.
Yeah,
good segue.
So our final clip here, I believe, was shared by Soap.
I want
Division 2 finals.
Yeah, I want to give a little bit of context going into this clip, actually, because right before this, UTD had just gotten a double power clam jump in behind EAUCD, like, to score. And during that time, EAUCD kind of fumbled their clam eco because they forgot to pick up the pity clam before the basket reset, so they lost the pity clam. So going into this, like, they kind of build up the eco, but it's not enough to, like, win. So you're watching this clip and you're thinking, like, that eventually the clams are going to fizzle out. You see here that they completely run out of clams running this push, and all 3 of them go down. But Nightbloom, like, super clutch roll into the basket to finish it off is just like, I tell you that EAUCD always produces bangers. This is like peak.
Holy clutch. And you can see on the end screen, everyone just pointing their guns at this guy, about to shoot, but just not there yet. Like, it's like actually comical when you watch the game, like the end screen when the game cuts out.
Let's try to like get that again.
Scream too.
They die even. They do kill them, but not in time.
Yeah, watch when it zooms out a little bit.
No way.
See? Oh, there's like 3 people right
Triple
there.
crossfire.
Yeah. Bro's a survivor. Holy clutch.
I feel like this is one of the maps that like this sort of stuff happens on the most typically. Maybe it's because of that like block jump you also have, but like the spinner
yeah.
too.
No, it's difficult to get people going over those grates on the spinner because you can't shoot everywhere ultimately, and especially if there's like different people coming from different directions or you're not quite sure. Like, from that point on the spinner, there's like 3 different decisions you can make as to where you want to throw the clam from. You can try and get across the grates, you can try and roll to the right or left, and it's like, where do you point your gun to like pre-fire in time? Like, it can be really difficult to stop sometimes if you don't know exactly where someone's going to go. And especially as a duelist, they have the opportunity to mix up a lot.
Especially you go the top left route, the slower route. There's so much. I mean, because it's like, besides really bad maps like Sturgeon, we don't really have that many of these like ways to easily, or not easily, but to sneak in a power clam. But this is like that one viable map that we regularly see these ridiculous hero players save a game like this. And I mean, this is just like masterfully done. This was amazing.
Big applause to
Beautiful.
them all. For real.
For eel, you should be saying.
Eel.
This is Splatoon.
On COD.
Don't forget. On COD.
No carp.
Yeah, exactly. No carp. All right.
And we're back. That's all the clips we had, I think, at least.
Yeah, where's the clip, Rocky? What happened, man?
I didn't do my homework. The only clip I could think of was Jay complaining about us getting counterpicked to humpback clams by PSU fish. But I think it was a little bit too mean, so I didn't share it. Goomies maybe has to keep our secrets. But yeah, the clip isn't actually a clip, it's just we got counterpicked to that. And like envision it in your heads. Envision having to play a match on like humpback clams on purpose. Fish, you're insane. Clinically
insane on the membrane.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. Alright, well, that's goated. Really cool moments. I love the one where
that's my favorite transition. Well, that's goated.
Really cool moments. Imagine 5 entire minutes of Clam Blitz humpback just played in your head.
I was doing that in the rotation earlier before the podcast. I'm pretty sure it was in like series or something. That was not.
Is there
fun.
something wrong with you, OmaZen?
Yeah, there is. No, there is. No,
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's talk about some other stuff. Like we kept alluding to it towards the beginning of the podcast, but like there's a lot of stuff to talk about with you all. Soap, like everything you've been cooking, Rocky Fox, what you cooked, and what you will continue to hopefully cook. But yeah, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. You know.
All right. So I guess I have the interviewee introduction here. Soap has quite the history with the CCA. Starting out in CCA League Season 2 for IVC, Soap was eventually able to win the Division 4 season with Season 3 with winner's title with the IVC Diamond Rays. Since then, Soap has remained an active member of the Collegiate community and has been involved in many new projects with the CCA, such as CCA Road Trip and the new CCA Circuit Pick Ems project. Soap, was there anything we missed that you'd like the gamers at home to know?
I will say you brought back memories. Season 2, I actually I completely forget that I played for that season because I played like 2 games maybe. But we were in the same group, Rocky, by the way, for that CCA season.
That's crazy. I remember you as like being one of the first people that I sort of got to know in CCA. I think it's because like you won the div in the next season. I was like, oh my god, this player's like 2 divs up from me, and like you let me sub in a scrim or something one time. And it's like, oh my god, they're so cool. They're so cool. They're playing that game with me. But no, like that's crazy. The early days, I barely remember. We were the Splams back then.
Yeah.
We were the Splams.
That was before my time.
Yeah, well before your time.
I was a baby when that happened.
Yeah,
So
I was 2 inches large.
So starting out with the questions, you've been involved in a lot of collegiate esports projects, particularly with CCA. What's the main motivation behind being this involved with the scene? What does Collegiate Splatoon mean to you?
I mean, the motivation is just CCA is goated. Like, it's been so much fun in my experience here since the beginning. Like the way the CCA continues to push the scene in new ways and innovating in ways that I think the rest of the comp scene needs. And it just it shows how much they care, how much passion there is. The community is so awesome here, so friendly. I've had my fair share of competitive experience in other games, and one thing that just always pushes me out is just like the community. But it's been so welcoming here and so awesome that I've just it feels like home in a way, I guess. So it's it means a lot, and it's so exciting to see what the CCA cooks every semester, and I always want to be a part of it in some way. So
you were cooking on your Blue Sky post like a few days ago, by the way, too.
Yeah, I could talk. I could make an entire podcast on how I feel about tournament format. So if you let me, I could glaze the circuit format for 3 hours straight. It's actually so peak. And we saw it last weekend. We've been talking about it this whole time, obviously, right? Just the excitement that this creates, it feels like you're part of something bigger. You're part of this big circuit, and you're playing at circuit finals. It's so hype. It's a feeling that I feel like the general comp community has been missing, and it's been even getting I feel diminishing more and more for these smaller weeklies and stuff like that. So to see this huge event and just how CCA continues to push the boundaries of what competitive Splatoon can be, even though it's the collegiate scene, which you'd expect to be a little bit more toned down, but no, they go all out. So it's just, yeah, I could talk about circuit finals, how peak all of it was, but I don't want to keep us here too long. So
I'll keep that in mind. Maybe we do bring back you on the podcast to just have a rant sesh about it. I think that would be pretty hard.
Hit me up for that.
Yeah.
I'm not the interviewee here, so I'm not giving too many thoughts. But I got thoughts on this too. We will go back and forth for 4.
Let's run it back. Can we run it back next week?
Yeah, let's
run
it
back. Can we pencil it in?
When Laundry start a podcast? When Laundry starts a podcast? The revival.
Final CCA event of the year. Stay tuned. I'm sorry, I'm not affiliated with any of the CCA stuff. I'm not saying we're actually going to do anything.
You CCA stuff, he's lying to you. Trust me.
I trust Rocky.
Not on staff.
That's definitely someone I trust.
As a staff member, I trust Rocky more than the TAs.
Yay!
As a friend of Rocky, I don't trust Rocky.
Uh-oh.
A friend? I thought you were an enemy. Anyway, let's get on. We're interviewing Soap right now.
Yeah, Soap, you got a lot going on, and a huge new element of the finals in particular was the Pick Ems. We keep talking about the Pick Ems. I glazed you a little bit earlier for the Pick Ems, but normally we have the fantasy, right? We inevitably have the fantasy finals where you know, we have the forum where people fill out, and it's like, oh, who do you think's gonna win? Who do you think's gonna move forward? And so on. And you kind of had a different spin on it that I think was like really fun and honestly engaging, both with like the public leaderboard, with just the additional questions and the choices too. Like, it made me have to like research and actually have to attempt to put in thought into what I was filling out, rather than, I mean, no like diss to the staff members who have worked on the fantasy projects before, like it's been great, but like there was just so many more angles to it that I don't think has been like maybe considered before, so that was really fun. And what I'm really curious about, as kind of an outsider to most of that development process, is what was the inspiration behind it?
Okay, I do. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Hoken, who did basically all the questions. I think only one of the questions came from me, and it was kind of, I ripped it off. I won't say I ripped it off, but the entire inspiration for Pick'ems, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but it comes from League of Legends, actually. And League of Legends, the World Championships, every year they have a Pick'em site, and it's like genuinely the most exciting. I'm not gonna say it's the most exciting part, but it's like up there as the most exciting part of the League of Legends World Champions. So like, I wanted to see if I could kind of bring that like excitement and hype and the whole experience of like you're sitting there, you're like theory crafting your Pick'ems, you're like, and it gets you engaged with the teams too. So it's like you pick a team and you're like, okay, now I want to see how they do the next day, right? So that kind of whole feeling, it comes from, it was inspired by a very similar thing from League of Legends. And so, yeah, I think I lost my train of thought.
You're goated.
But yeah. Oh,
You're goated.
No, but I think it was a lot of fun working on it. It was a lot of time, to be fair. I think I ended up spending a lot more time than I wanted to. There's just this concept in development where the first 90% of the work takes the first 90% of the time, and then the last 10% of the work takes the last 90% of the time. So I pushed out the original prototype. I sent it to I sent it to DRF. I don't remember if I sent it to DRF or Hooken or who I sent it to. And it took me like maybe 2 weeks. And that was like all of the backend code, by the way, or most of the backend code was done by then. So like you'd think it wouldn't be that much harder, right? The next 4 weeks were me designing the rest of the website. So like there's so much stuff from like, just like I sat there, I told you, I think Oma, that I almost scrapped the like banner idea. Because I sat there for actually genuinely, I think an entire day, like jiggling the text back and forth, up and down, like justifying it left, justifying right. Like I could not get it to look the way I wanted to. So there's like,
it literally looks.
I don't know how I got into it.
It looks perfect.
Thank you.
The product is stunning. Absolutely stunning. Like I opened it up and I actually like jumped out of my chair. This is not a joke, not a hyperbole. Like I saw it and my autistic little mind just thought like, oh holy fuck, this is it. This is amazing.
Him and Lux. I went to dinner with them after Pick'ems dropped. Yeah, he knows. I was like, I was in my feelings. I was like, I had my final crit. I was like pissed off and like I was like sad, laying my head on the table, and they were there for like literal hours on end, just like talking about Pick'ems. Like they were locked in. They could not give a shit. They were sitting at dinner doing math. Like we
were doing math on the tower control. The tower control.
That's so bad. By the way, I want to say the staff, we messed up the math on that like 5 times. We actually, like originally, I think you were supposed to get full credit. It was either full credit or divide by 2 for the points, for like 200 points. By the way, like it was.
Which by the way, both me and Lux were like off by like we were both like either 60 or 120 too much above. We were cooking too close to this.
It's a hard question. To be fair,
yeah,
hard question.
No, I ended up not doing it because I was scared of having to imagine math. That's really not my strong suit. But I kind of wanted to do it just because if I guessed and got better scores than Fox, it would have been really, 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 really funny. It would have been really funny.
I
That's
also
really funny.
I wanted to, but I didn't have enough time. I wanted to implement a magic 8-ball button just for you, man. I was like really thinking about putting that in. You could just press it and it'd give you random like picks entirely, and like
I carry around a magic 8-ball with me in real life. I have a
Really?
keychain because I can't make choices. So I'm like, should I take the metal forming class or the glass blowing class next semester? And I shake it and I was like, should I take glass? And I said, not now. And then I looked on the registration and the glass class was full. So it was right. But that's literally how I make choices in real life. I'm like, should I order the barbecue chicken sandwich? And it's like, decidedly so. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting the barbecue chicken sandwich. Like, if next year, please make a magic 8-ball button. I live by that. I literally live by that.
I will say it makes me really happy to hear that like people actually like sat down and they were mathing everything out. There's like a lot of like little optimizations that like it's hard because like in one way it feels like it's kind of impossible to guess, but there's so many like little things that you have to think about. Like some of the questions where it's like which team will dunk the most rainmakers, like you have to think about if you put like one of the teams that's gonna make it out of day one quickly or like in any way, like you're probably picking the wrong team, right? Like you have to think about what's the long team that's gonna play the most games, right? You have optimizations like the pick your points questions where it's like how risky do you want to get, like what is the actual likelihood. Day 2, the player questions, I'm gonna glaze myself a little bit. I feel like I kind of smurfed on the player questions on day 2 for my own picks. And it's so much fun because I got to go to Hokin's like stats thing, his visualization, which is really cool by the way. And I went and I clicked for past qualifiers and I was like, okay, which of these dots for the splat average, how do you know how you say that? Splavrage. Okay, yeah. So I went and I looked for like the splavrage, like highest splavrage players, like across different qualifiers and everything, and it was like I was sitting there, I was looking through every single one. I was looking through every single player and every div's like weapon pool. I think I kind of trolled that one a little bit, but
you guys are insufferable nerds. I hate all of you.
But it's so much fun.
You want to know the craziest optimization that I ended up doing? I got the paint stat for day 1 pretty close, and it was because I was pretty sure that we would be one of the best, and I looked at the scrim we did the night before I put them in, and I was like, yeah, I can expect that we can get this much this high of paint. Not the entire league. I mean, just our team. I think we can get this much paint, and I can control that. So we're gonna go do that. Like I think there's other stuff. Like if you have a teammate that you know is gonna be pulling out some crazy unseen picks before you could have insider. Like it's not insider information because we're all part of it. Like I saw people talking with other people in like a VC about it. It really was like I don't think you need to be told this, but any like idea of how much engagement or hype or fun this generated was complete success. This was amazing, and I'm so glad it was part of the league.
Yeah, I will say I forgot about this one, but my favorite optimization was also the paint one. It's something that I don't know if anyone else did, but you should always 100% of the time end your guess with 50 because it's going to round up when you get the points and it's dividing by 100. So you always want to end your guess with 50 for 1 extra point. It's completely useless basically. Actually no, in the top 4, this was kind of crazy. The difference between first and second on the leaderboards was 1 point, and the difference between the person above me in third and the person in fourth was 1 point also, which is like, I'm like, I wish I had guessed. I wish I hadn't trolled half my pick your points questions, to be honest, but like if I had just guessed like 1 more on some of them, like
insane.
Crazy. Yeah. I feel like having something like this, I mean, it does what sports gambling does for boring sports like football, but now you have an interesting sport like Splatoon, and it's good for viewership, it's good for community building, like it's good for investment, and I really do think it shows like the strength of like what having teams in the scene does, and what having like a consistent community to bond with over the course of an entire circuit season does. And it really like maxes out the value of that experience by like having something to show for it, like taking all this information, like knowledge you've gained over the course of like a season and like these different teams you and your friends have played with and against, or that you've watched, and like putting it somewhere, putting it into something, and just getting so hyped to like watch teams duke it out at the end. Like, it's so much more fun to watch a stream when you're invested in it, even if you're not gambling real money and it's just your dignity.
I love gambling. That was my inspiration actually for all of it. I love gambling.
Let's go gambling. Let's put FanDuel in Splatoon 3.
Rare would be proud. Rare would be proud.
This is true. Yeah.
Big gamble.
But yeah, I feel like I have a couple more anecdotes from it. One of them that I want to say I was really happy with, one thing that how it came out was the pick your points for players specifically, because people don't realize it, but it's actually a pretty hard thing to design, because like, one, most of the splash tags are not in English. Like, they're like random characters. They're like, you think it's a C, but it's actually like backwards, like random language from like 2,000 years ago, like letter, like, and then it's like, so you have to make them searchable. You have to make them like, you have to make it so that it's not daunting, right? So the way, and this one's actually, shout outs to Hoken. I don't know if he did this intentionally or not. I would assume he did, but we split the player count. Every single player question was you had to pick for each div specifically instead of just like one player overall. So that helps you like narrow down your picks a lot. And then just, yeah, a lot of like little issues. I think we also had like, there's concerns also about like, how many people know the players on each teams, like how recognizable are the players. We didn't really do anything for designing that, but I think it worked out better than expected. Like a lot of people, I mean, like there are those like key players. A lot of people put Mini for their pick for like highest average. Like everyone's gonna like see that coming.
Yeah.
So like we do have those iconic players, and it was cool to see them like get like celebrated, I guess, in a way that like, I guess many people wouldn't normally get to see those players. Like, so yeah. I felt like I had one more thing to say, but I forgot. Oh well.
It's sort of like a mini like, I think I saw in like the CCA question said that like CCA staff may not, you know, do, or they don't have plans for like all div this season, but like, you kind of did your own mini like shout out to these players, not just for things like, you know, how well they did with splat average, but also how weird are your weapons, how many unique weapons did you play, how much of a flex player are you. Like, that's really cool. Like I saw some of those, and when it, you know, I kind of like, I wanted to look into them a little bit more and see what they actually did. It was really cool. It's excellent.
I want to give actually a couple shout outs. One, shout outs to Big Fat CCAS for giving us fake data on one of the questions.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. We gave you the warm up scrim where Toto was messing around with like Vunder.
Yeah. I remember on day 2 coming into Rocky's Twitch chat and asking Rocky to ask Arctan from PSU to play completely random weapons because I needed them for the pick'ems, and I didn't get it. So low-key, I don't know if you told them or not.
Arctan for that. I didn't tell Arctan that, but everybody picked Arctan for that, and Arctan,
I think Arctan was the right choice.
Arctan doesn't play a lot of weapons. Arctan just plays a few really weird weapons. Like, bro is never gonna flex on the shot, but we'll always be pulling out that Vunder.
I will say, the reason I picked Arctan wasn't because I really knew that much about their wacky weapon pool. I was going through all of the like weapons, and they were one of the most like, they were one of the top scorers in that category in other qualifiers. So like I went, and that's why I chose Arctan. But
fortunately, they locked in and tailored their weapon pool to try to do better in the final.
I should have bribed people.
Oh, no.
I should have been like, I'll pay you
3
money.
different weapons during our set. Big Swig,
and then they got
Thunder,
and
and
did super
Brush.
well. Oh, boo-hoo. I'm so sad. I'm very sad.
I mean, I still thought a variety of weapons, but could have been more.
Yeah. I will say, I feel like, did you play against SSU on any of the days, Rocky?
Which one's SSU?
Oh wait, no, that's
SSU was
Div
Div
4.
four.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No, did you?
But
We have 2 teams in Div 4. I am not one of them. Let's get Shadow Warriors and Plurality on here.
Yeah,
Did you guys
I need
get
to,
them? Where's the Twitch chat? Where's the Twitch chat?
I need to ask them retroactively, like in the past, to tell them to throw against SSU, because I had Dr. Lion and I was like for my highest Splabbers pick, and they were the second place like by 3 points or something, and I was like so mad that like I was like so close to predicting it, and then it's just like 3 Splabbers points short. It was like, oh my god. Okay, back on topic. We have to wrap up because there's another interview after this. So.
Oh my god, yeah.
Interviewing all of you. I'm gonna be honest with my Pick'ems stuff. Like, it's kind of hard for me to talk about it because I like know a lot of people and I'm like generally aware of like what they're doing, but I don't like know too much about them, and I don't really care about doing the research on that front with a lot of the day 2 stuff. So I just kind of let my heart decide, and I think I did okay for letting my heart decide.
You followed your heart. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I told everyone who told me that they were just following their heart. The truest fact of Pick'ems, the eternal truth, is that the more you know about the teams and the harder you try, the more likely you are to get things wrong.
Oh, you're so right.
And like in my experience, like 3 years of League of Legends Pick'ems, I have genuinely like. The more I think I know something, the harder I troll. Like, it's so bad. I'm like so bad at Pick'ems generally, so I'm surprised I did okay here. But yeah,
No, like
sometimes you just have to follow the heart.
Lux is a what, like a computer science or like a statistics or data analyst, like does numbers and stuff, and got the tower control points off by I think like 120, and we both spent like an hour or 2 each doing it. Like you don't gotta. In fact, it's better if you're not as grossly invested in this. Just
like I said,
just put your picks on. It's super fun.
Don't fall in the
Like I said, we went to dinner. They came. They talked about it the whole time, and I left, and they were still talking about it. Like, just yep. The whole time, nonstop. It was kind of beautiful. It was kind of cute, in a way.
Okay. Well, probably. No, I mean, it's awesome. I will say, like, as the person who made that, I honestly didn't expect it to, I think, get as much traction as it did. Like, 135 users, I think, is what we ended with. And that's just, like, that's a number. I didn't even know numbers went that high. I can't count to 4 fish, as we all know. So, like, 135 is, like, genuinely nuts. Like, so this was, like, just, like, so... It was so much bigger than I think I ever expected it to be. Both in terms of, like, users and also code. I think, like, genuinely... Oh, my God. I went back and I checked, and I think I had over, like, 20,000 lines of code written for the website. And it was, like... yeah, there was a lot. So I'm glad people enjoyed it so much. I could not have been more happy with a project that I think originally wasn't even intended for circuit finals. It was a random comment I made to DRF while we were working on a different secret project that I'm not allowed to talk about.
I guess, like, can you allude to anything? Do you think we'll ever see that again? Is
maybe
Pick'ems dead?
Okay, I will say we have no plans for any Pick'em stuff at the moment. But I wouldn't count it out. It was hype, okay. So we'll
the infrastructure's there. The infrastructure's there.
That's true.
That's
true.
You did get it started. Now you just have to do that last 10%. That's actually 90% again. But wouldn't you love to do that? Wouldn't you love to do that for the league again?
See, I always want to say, like, it shouldn't be too hard now, right? Like, it's all there. But then, like, I know I'd get started on it, and I'd be like, wait.
Everyone give Soap money now.
True. I
Drop the
actually
PayPal.
Don't give me money. Gamble it. Sorry, I don't endorse gambling. Actually, my bad.
No, you should set up like sports gambling, but like it's twisted so you get all the profits.
That's regular. I'm like the owner of the site. That's regular gambling, bro.
No,
like,
exactly.
Regular gambling.
Exactly.
Don't gamble, guys. It's bad.
Yeah, just pay Soap money directly.
Yeah,
Just their
it does.
money.
It accomplishes the same exact thing. To be honest, it's less addicting actually, so it's probably better. To be fair.
Well, you could find a way to gamify it, make it addicting to throw money at
Ah.
soap.
We're
Okay,
Yeah,
bad.
really Next topic. Okay.
All
You want
right.
to take this away on the?
Yeah, let's go for it. So, we talked about soap. Let's talk about VCU now. So, let's give a brief introduction that's probably not needed, but, just for history's sake. Virginia Commonwealth has quite the history here in the CCA community, starting in CCA League Season 2, and has consistently been a team that has represented their school in CCA events. VCU has had 4 teams represent them in CCA Circuit, being the Big Fat Sea Cows, Goomies, Spirality, and Shadow Warriors. These 4 teams made it to the CCA Circuit Finals, with Big Fat Sea Cows and Goomies winning Division 1 and 3, respectively. And also, VCU is one of the few schools, relatively, that has multiple teams to have all their teams show up in finals. And the fact that you're also one of the larger schools on top of it, that's pretty crazy. So, like, a big applause to that, for real.
All 4 teams in finals is pretty wild. Like,
no, that is wild.
I'm so proud of both of our 4 teams. Both of them have worked so hard. I know, like it's daunting in comparison to, like, we have 2 teams who won divisions, but both of them performed so well. With Spirality getting to day 2, which is, which honestly wasn't expected, given that, like, we've had the Shadow Warriors versus Spirality matchup so many times, and I think it's gone to Shadow Warriors quite a lot. But in day 1, Spirality actually took it finally, and then Shadow Warriors in their first season ever, going so far here and doing so well, and
They won a qualifier.
Especially their improvement is it's amazing to see. Huge shout out to them.
Yeah, and on Spirality, there's a ton of new players, like tons of people coming to our school, learning the game, and like really, really getting invested in it. Like, none of these teams have fizzled out, which I think is really amazing. Like, they've all kept their spark, and they've all like started to make like really amazing bonds with each other. And just like tuning into their streams, hearing them talking to each other, and just like having fun between sets. Like, this is why we run the club. It's for stuff like this, like making friends and like working hard and getting some level of success. Like, even if you didn't take the gold, like, it's still amazing to get as far as they have.
for sure. I didn't realize that this was basically the first question on this document, so that's my bad, chat.
Well,
But I mean, I guess
No, you're
we'll
too
dip
good.
into it a little bit more. If like, was there any type of like management between the teams, or like coaching, or like, did you guys share ideas between the teams? What was that like dynamic like for you guys?
I'd like, coaching wise, we wish we could have done more. They all got coaching from people generally in the CCA. They reached out. I know like some one-on-one coaching has happened between players.
What are you talking about? No. Like,
What?
no. What are you talking about? Lux has put in time to coach them. We've had a lot of our players from the higher level teams, coach the newcomers, help them, get on their feet. We have had internal coaching.
But I'm saying, like, we have had some internal coaching, but like, I wish we could do more, because we shouldn't discredit the external coaches. We've had Zoe coming in and helping out Shadow Warriors, and we've had Kira coming in and helping out Spirality, because we do tune in when we can and we have the chance. Like, I'll always be in chat trying to give pointers and hype up our teams like during their sets, but like, we haven't had like one coach from like VCU who's been able to do like VOD review every single week. We've gotten a couple of VOD reviews. Like, huge shout out to Lux for VOD reviewing a lot of our teams, and huge shout out to Toto for helping out Spirality and just like managing like the mental game side of things. Like, we have work going in. It's just we don't have like the sort of coaching that's like every single week we get to give you a VOD review. Like, I wish we could achieve that consistency, but it's really busy with a lot of us here at VCU, playing all kinds of events outside of CCA as well. So I'd say it's a mix. Anything you have to say, Fox?
I think you're undercutting it a lot. I think we do have a lot of really good coaching communication between the teams. I think that's one of the reasons why we we have this really good community that got all 4 of our teams into finals.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
we
I'd say
support the homies, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all support the homies, and I'd say more so than like just coaching, it's like there's a culture where like we have advice channels, people can always reach out and ask questions, and just to see so many people like really pushing themselves in our school, like we've had several people join non-collegiate competitive teams aside from people who have already been established here. Like we've had at least 3 people in our club, one of them who's not even on a competitive team because they joined late, join non-collegiate Splatoon teams to keep grinding. Like I think there's a culture at VCU that just like really promotes engaging with the greater community. Like even Spirality, like they go and they play F2IU and like non-collegiate tournaments to practice sometimes.
No, that's really great. Like I think that's something a lot of like scenes miss out on, like that greater engagement. Like there's so many teams at the CCA that you only really see in the CCA. Whether that's just because of the general knowledge. Like I remember having a conversation with a friend of like a family friend of mine who is on a like he's a cousin. He's on a high school team for Splatoon, which is pretty neat. And I was asking him like, "Oh, do you ever play like low ink?" And he's like, "What the heck's low ink?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And like all they do is like do Playverse stuff over there, or I think that's what it is. Like whatever high school league there is. And I think it's kind of the same way for a lot of people with CCA. Like they're like, "Oh, this is the college Splatoon thing. Like we're just gonna do the college Splatoon thing." And like just having those resources available, trying to like connect to people, is something that's like very frequently missed out on, I think. So you guys are doing a really good job, like especially just with the diversity and like everyone's different skill levels and like supporting each other, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think we've been pretty successful at mentoring people who are really motivated to getting into comp and to getting into the greater scene. Like, I want to give a shout out to Goomies member Dakari, who joined us partway through the season. Like, he wasn't there for tryouts, and he showed up to our server, and he was just joining us for like private battles and opens, and was just like super motivated to learn, asking us all kinds of questions. And we gave him an opportunity to get on Goomies because like we could see how motivated he was. And then later, I think Fox reached out to him with an opportunity to try out for a non-CCA team. There's someone who joined our club.
I had to get him on something.
Yeah, just so incredibly motivated. And there was someone who joined the club who unfortunately watched too late in the game to get on one of our teams. And pretty much of their own volition, I think all we did was like give them a link to Splatoon Stronghold, and they found their own team, which is pretty incredible just to see that, like, just from coming to one of our meetings and like learning that competitive Splatoon is a thing, we were able to, you know, give someone the resources they needed to get involved, even if we weren't able to get them into Collegiate right away.
That's awesome to hear. It's the motivation, the grind. We love to see it. So moving topics a little bit here, like, what were y'all's opinions as like players on the circuit format? You know, in terms of scheduling, playing matches and the time frames, but also just like the experience, all of it as a whole. Like, what are y'all's thoughts on the format so far?
So, I am absolutely a huge fan of the format. Sorry, staff, for the amount of comments I had when it was initially revealed. I did kind of make a like an actual 3 or 4 paragraph essay about it. Thank you for entertaining that. But seriously, I know we've talked about it, you know, bits and pieces throughout this podcast, but the amount of hype of just having a game day, you know, there's nothing wrong with having, you know, your matches spread across the week, you know, at whatever time is most convenient for people, but having this time that we're, you know, 2 weeks apart, we're all preparing for it, we're getting ready for it, we know what our matchups are, where you can do research ahead of the time, or you can just go into it and and go to beat whoever you can. Just having all of that, piled onto this one moment, this one crazy, event. It was amazing. I think after pretty much every single qualifier, we would, even the ones like that ended at like 11 p.m. for us, we would go out to whatever pizza place was still open, like Goomies and whatever stragglers of BFSC, and then Spirality, and then just vibe with it. Not even because like any of us did particularly good or anything like that, but just because we had such a fun time with like the format, having this community, not just with our own division, but with all the other divisions as well.
We were literally up till like 4 a.m, like after the evening ones, like literally till 4 a.m, just like after the first circuit qualifier. It was so much fun. Like we all went and got pizza, we all hung out, Goomies got second place, and it was just like, and everyone was just like really excited to start the season. It was amazing. Like I will say, me and Fox are both very, very, very highly critical. I think maybe even Miso a little bit more than Fox, of the circuit format at the beginning, because we were really worried about people not being able to participate. It's difficult for people who work sometimes and people have other things going on to make a specific game day. But I'd say the CCA staff did everything right in trying to be accommodating. I felt really listened to. At one point, I went into help desk and I was asking about like what time events would be. And I was talking about how, if things are at like a specific time, then you can't really work a lunch shift or a closing shift, like if you're working a job, because it would land like smack dab in the middle. And I think they sort of came to the conclusion that they would have some in the evening and some in the morning to sort of be accommodating towards different people with different schedules. And I think also having everything out in advance is really doing the most they can to make it so that players who have to have a job and have to work on the weekends are able to schedule around this if they want, or able to make it to some of these events. And I agree, like having a game day is really incredibly hype. I'd say there were some trade-offs compared to the league season. I'd say the one big trade-off that happened was like community bonding that happens with a static div and with a particular group during the league season, and building those connections with specific teams and captains through communication. I think that's really beneficial to the players in the community specifically, and like the greater community, because most of my connections that I have in the community come from those league seasons and messaging captains and this and that. But ultimately, like the trade-off that we got out of like the circuit season that was really beneficial was just game day and the finals. Like those kinds of events can't exist with the league season, and I think that really made a lot of things worth it. I think that having a mix of these two would be ideal, because in a league season, like you really get like the internal community build up, and then with the circuit season you just get like the absolute hype, like the incredible amount of hype. So I'd say it really exceeded my expectations. I'm really happy with how it went.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. I'm just like all the hype we were able to build around it, like that was unmatched. Like it was like easily the biggest event the CCA has ever done. I think the biggest event in a while. Like I was having a chat with a couple like community members after the event, and they were all like, dude, this is like the biggest, this is like the Splatoon event of the year. And I feel like that's true personally.
Absolutely.
Like yeah. There's always that one or two like majors or like just huge events that occur, whether it's something maybe Nintendo does maybe every now and then, or just like something the IPL puts out. But this time all the eyes were on Collegiate, and I think that's really impactful too, especially heading into the future with a bunch of cool things that will hopefully be revealed sooner rather than later. But let's go ahead and jump into some other questions, particularly about the circuit qualifiers with VCU. So how receptive were the VCU teams in terms of playing dynamic divisions? The Goomies and Shadow Warriors did change divisions during the different qualifiers, for instance. So was that something that like you were able to work around to the best of your ability, or was that like kind of like a big shocker, like, ooh, I don't know if I like this necessarily?
I'll hand this one off to Rocky, since didn't really interact with
Yeah.
this dynamic div system.
I will honestly say Goomies never really got to play in Div 2. The first one that Goomies got to play, I wasn't able to be involved in because I was dying from midterms. So I didn't get to play in Division 2 the first time, and I think they got a little bit cooked that time around as well. The team wasn't really well established. I was the most experienced player there, so I kind of pulled the rug out from under them, and they did their best, but they struggled. The next time, we were losing to Wi-Fi. Like, literally, every single set, we had, like, 1 or 2 DCs that just happened in a way that, like, lost us the game. So we didn't really even get to play. Like, we didn't make it to finals because we just kept losing to DCs, and it was, like, actually horrendous. We lost to Nintendo. And then the next qualifier, we lost to Check-In because one of our teammates, who is kind of new and doesn't really know all the rules yet, so we don't blame him, didn't tell us that he changed his splash tag. And so we all showed up for qualifier 4 and didn't get to play. So the only real qualifier experiences I'd say Goomies really got to have were in Division 3, so it's hard for me to say much about the dynamic divs. However, Shadow Warriors did actually get the dynamic div experience, so I asked them about it, and they said that they enjoyed it. They liked that they could meet different teams from different divisions that they fought against, and it made them feel like they were really growing and improving by getting to play against harder players. Even if ultimately they got knocked back to Division 4, you can tell that those harder matches really helped them improve because they won it. Like, they won their division. Actually, which qualifier was it that they won? Like, did they get
the last one?
I
Div 3?
think it was 5, right?
Yeah,
Was
they got knocked back to Div 4 after having experience in Division 3 and immediately won Division 4 in that qualifier.
Are you sure it wasn't qualifier 4? Because I don't remember Goomies. Yeah. Did Goomies and Shadow Warriors win in the same qualifier, number 5?
I could be lying. Maybe I'm lying.
I want to say it was 4. I feel like it was 4 too.
It might be 4.
Yeah. Shadow Warriors won qualifier 4. But yeah, I think
and then they went to 3, and then
yeah. But no, I mean I think they had a bit of a back and forth between them. I'm not sure, but they did say that they enjoyed meeting more teams and getting to have harder level matchups. I think it's appreciated. Oh, and they also said they like that the dynamic div system was able to move up teams like Crab and Go and Turnpike that just absolutely stopped Division 4 and were completely underseeded. They also appreciated that because I think it made the division more competitive as other teams got weeded out, versus if the division was solid for the entire circuit, it probably would have just been the same 2 teams duking it out at the top over and over and over and over again. So things definitely get much more exciting with the dynamic divs. Things can get more competitive for people who are in the lower divisions because they'll have a chance.
Not to derail too much, I went ahead and fact checked because I was curious about the Shadow Warriors thing. They won Div. They won qualifier 3.
I was gonna say it was neither. I was like, I knew it wasn't 5 because I remember it was a while ago.
Oh, Shadow Warriors! I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I disrespected.
But we are right about qualifier 4. They went up to Division 3, and then they got kind of like smacked around, and then in qualifier 5 they did make top cut of Division 4, but they ended up getting out due to CSUDH gold in a 1-2. So that's what happened there. Yeah.
But yeah, I think they had a lot of growth throughout the season. Again, a lot of new players. Their captain, Anarchy, used to be on Goomies back in season 4. Season 4. And made a return.
And so was Doors.
Oh, and so was Doors, yeah.
Who's on that team too. That was actually, those were the two... Those were the 2 that joined Goomies at the same time that I joined Goomies as well. So it was really cool to see them, like, both of them took, they didn't play in season 5. They wanted a break from it, because of personal reasons. And then both of them coming back and sort of like plotting together to make this new team. It's really cool. It was like a really cool little reunion. And they obviously did a wonderful job.
Yeah, super happy for them.
So, I think for time reasons, I don't know, Oma, I hope this is okay. I'm gonna like skip a couple of these questions and like move us into like.
We've covered a lot too.
Yeah, I want to move us specifically into year 2 finals runs because there's a lot to talk about for them, and we're running a lot of time. So I want to talk because I guess I'll start with you, Fox, and Big Fat Sea Cows run, because y'all got knocked into the lower bracket pretty early and by death roll, right? Was it death roll or was it?
It was by death roll.
Yeah, for y'all to come back, win almost every game, and then have to reverse sweep Arcaley and then be death roll again. I want to know what the process was like. How y'all kept your mental in check to reverse sweep, how you made it through the lower bracket despite being knocked out so early and looking like so strong over that lower bracket run. Like, what were the adaptations you made along the way?
First, to get it clear, it was not like a lack of warm up or like unpreparedness that or any kind of like cope reason that we lost to death roll. We just got rocked by death roll round 1. Like straight up and down. There's a little bit about not knowing the matchup in particular. Shout out to Lux for getting demolished matchup wise. I feel like every single team we fought against just like was so anti-wiper that it made it hard to even like for them to even get their footing. But yeah, it was just they had death roll had such a strong start that we got knocked down. Immediately, I think we went into fighting Splatlanders, which is a matchup we're really familiar with. Wiper actually has a great matchup into Tent, so Lux actually was able to have their moment there. But then the most important set that nobody saw was our matchup versus UCSD. UCSD got knocked into losers by Arcaley in an insane upset. And going into the finals, UCSD was the team that we feared the most. In fact, we feared it enough that I picked up V-Splash just for their team. It wasn't for any other reason. It was, it ended up being really helpful in other sets, and it ended up being super pivotal to us, winning later. But the entire reason we brought it in was because we just kept getting rocked by that combination of an insane E-leader player and then really quick offense. We needed something to shut that down, to assist Mini with Chip, to really just like improve that matchup, and that was shown. We 2-0'd them. We 2-0'd them really well. We I don't think it was streamed, but we had me and Wyatt had really good synergy in that. UCSC played really well as well, don't get me wrong, but like that one was the one that we felt prepared for and really could have been something that knocked us out. I think after that was the Arcaley set, which horrifying. Horrifying. It is so scary.
Your minor correction, it was into Old Bay Brigade and then into Arcaley.
To Old Bay Brigade. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. No, we were very prepared for that one because we had a warm-up scrim into them. The Arcaley match was I mean, yeah, it was really hard to keep nerves. It was really hard to keep nerves in check. But I think after that first game back, in fact, actually, after those first 2 games, losing to Arcaley, we sort of had this like team discussion, and for the first time, we really just sat down and were like, what is something that actually worked? What is something that worked? Let's put together our best idea. We put together the comp. We put it on the best map that we had been playing that night, and I think if it were not for, that like really just like heated discussion, I don't think we would have gone as far as we did. I think it would have stopped right then and there. And I think it was that third game that really said it. Like once we did that, it was, we were able to continue from there, and rest is history.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the UCSD set specifically. I was very curious. I'm really sad we didn't get to watch it because it was the matchup I was most hyped for coming into day 2. It was one that I really wanted to see. And it's especially interesting to me because I think you guys played them in Swiss on day 1 and lost to them, right?
I wasn't playing in day 1, but that sounds correct.
Let me double check because I remember this because I was number 1 UCSD glazer for my pick'ems. West Coast represent. Yeah. But okay, I just double checked in round 3 of Swiss. Yeah, UCSD 3-2 against Big Fat Sea Cows. So it's really interesting to hear like the adaptation that came in, given that they'd gotten the upper hand in qualifier 5 and coming into Swiss. So it's really cool to hear you picked up an entire new weapon for their comp, and it seems to have paid dividends. It's like
it really did. Like if that is the one thing the one thing I contributed to see, you know, I'm coming in kind of as like a bit of an outsider to Sea Cows. They're one of the few collegiate teams that exists almost in its entirety outside of collegiate. They play in SAC, they play in SOS, they play in plenty of weeklies. They've climbed to the top, or they've climbed to mid-level. They've really done great work, and I'm coming in sort of as what was initially a substitute. Meshing originally was really difficult because I play the game very different from them. They have this very, precise way of playing, and I play a lot looser. But I think this was like the culmination of everything, being able to like actually play to their game, actually like find my place on their team, and really like provide something for them. I feel really grateful getting to play with them, and this felt like my way of like giving back, and actually like helping out with one of those harder matchups.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool to hear. I'm glad you touched on it because there's also we have a question here that's like, what team matchups were you prepared extra to deal with?
UCSD, absolutely. You already answered.
So Rocky, I'm just moving on to you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say similar story, but I mean pretty similar story actually. Y'all got knocked into losers bracket and then just came back full force, full swinging. Like, what were the adaptations that you guys made? What match? I imagine the UConn matchup was one that you were looking at specifically. So like, what were the adaptations you made to them? Were they the ones that knocked you into losers bracket?
Yeah, they were the ones that knocked us into losers bracket. And I'd say going into day 2, there was like no teams we were preparing to deal with. There was like nothing we were scared of. We were like, it was mostly the unknown, and UConn was the unknown. So yeah, I'd say like immediately after that, like I'd say I'm probably one of the biggest problem solvers on the team. Like, that's sort of the thing that I do for Goomies. I am not the player who is always dropping like the biggest KD or like doing the most insane stuff or like just like dipping out the other team. Like, I have my moments, but on Goomies we all have our moments. Like, the only thing that I really have above the other players on that team is more experience and that analytical mindset. And so basically, and I'm just really lucky that I have a team that is able to listen and able to like work off of that, because sometimes, people aren't able to adapt. But Goomies, they did a really good job. And basically what we noticed in that first match that we lost against UConn Siberian Squids is we had Rare playing Splash, and the comp that we were actually running was Pencil, Double V Slosh, and Splash, which, is kind of a Scuff CCA comp because me and Jay are both V Slosher one tricks. It's both our best weapon by a mile. And the thing that we switched initially was like, okay, this team is running double short range shooter, and they counterpicked us to another V-Slosh player. Originally they were running Decav, they switched on to V-Slosh, which sort of nulled out, like, their V-Slosh player was good. They sort of nulled out what me and Jay were doing on V-Slosh. They were able to tame down Rare, who's our short range shooter. And it's like, okay, we need a way to deal with this bucket. They already have 2 short range shooters. We're not worried about that. It's mostly just dealing with this bucket. And then they had a heavy edit, which our Pencil could already deal with. So we switched Rare onto Credit, and he kicked ass. Like, that's a comp that at top level would probably be too slow, running double V bucket, Credit, and Pencil. But Credit's a midline. It's not a backline. A lot of people act like it's a backline. Credit is a midline, and Ver did a really amazing job fighting with that. And it tamed down their V-Slosh player. It just totally prevented their shooter players from doing what they wanted. And that was the thing that helped us really come back swinging just knowing that this team is going to play aggressive and going to try and run at us, and we need to be playing to our range. And I think at one point I swapped onto End Machine as well. I think I was just like sort of really feeling Zook, and I was feeling the AoE. Swapping onto End Machine for me is something that I might do for the point sensors, but really against this team, like I swapped onto it for basically a mindset shift of I'm going to be playing back more, I'm going to be playing more pokey. So I was switching mostly for the mindset shift rather than, because sometimes switching a weapon is like adapting isn't always about switching sometimes it is, sometimes it's about switching how you play, and sometimes switching your weapon slightly just makes it easier to change how you play. So that's basically what End Machine was. It was kind of a cope. And yeah, we noticed though UConn didn't keep their same comp. They realized it wasn't working. So in the run back, they did something really crazy. They started picking like different weapons out of nowhere. They picked Red Pen against us, and luckily Dakari, our pencil, is just really strong, and we managed to win that matchup. Then they decided to pick Range Blaster, which is a counter to Edit, and Rapid Pro Deco, which is also, you know, something that's pretty good at dealing with like mid lines. But it didn't quite work out for them because you could kind of tell they were a bit unfamiliar with those weapons, and we didn't play the same way into those weapons either. I think at one point when they pulled that out, we were sort of struggling at the beginning, and I was like, wait, we don't need to fight them, just paint and they can't go anywhere. And it's those sort of like in-game call-outs and like change to your game plan and adaptation that is the thing that will make you win a set and make you win a run back. Just noticing what's going on and noticing the easiest thing that your team can do to change how you're playing and take the win.
I want to say too, watching the double bucket plays when you guys were running double V slash, that was so fun. That was like the highlight.
It's
honestly.
really evil.
It's evil, but it's so fun to watch because like you have like, oh, you got the guy on the left like sloshing, and then other person on the other side sloshing, and you both played really well off of each other. I would say it wasn't like you're both in your own Narnias. Like, I think that can sometimes happen, especially with the typically lower division teams, but, like, just the synergy that was going on there in general was, like, freaking... It was so, like, almost mind-numbing just because of how cool it was.
It was difficult to get to that point.
I'm not like a coach for these two, but I'm friends with both Rocky and Jay. And so we regularly, we talk about these comps.
The advice,
yeah, an advice. That's good. And they've been trying to cook with this for a while. They've been, Rocky's been mostly playing Machine just to sort of make that a little bit easier. And like all three of us, like we recognize we just keep hammering home like if Jay is the stubborn one and stays there, and then Rocky does this to go a team fight this and take a different angle, then we can do this perfect thing. And it wasn't working in some situations, it was working sometimes, but then you guys just locked in for finals, and every time I saw you guys fighting each other, you never stood on each other's toes. You played like you were playing two entirely different weapons, and it was beautiful. It was really good.
It was a really good learning experience for me, and I think for Jay as well, because initially, like, we had tried double V-Slosh in scrims. We hadn't run it much in tournament. We had mostly stuck to me on End Machine, because what would happen in scrims, and even sometimes on End Machine, is me and Jay, we share one brain cell. We do the same thing at the same time. Like, we literally, like, one brain cell transfers between us, and, like, literally, like, which game who's popping off will alternate between Jay and me. Like, we have one singular brain cell. So we would be doing the same thing at the same time. And I'm like, Jay, don't drop right when I'm taking an off angle on right. You have to keep the same angle because it's not an off angle if we both do it. And just like, we really, really locked in for finals. And I think it sort of just started to click with double V-Slosh and double bucket, like how to fight together and to really, like, one of the easiest mental traps that I still struggle with sometimes as a player, and a lot of players struggle with, is you have a play in your mind that you want to do. You have the thing that you know that usually works, and you want to make it happen. But you're not actually looking at the game and doing what you need to do. And playing with someone who's playing the exact same weapon as you and might do the exact same thing you're trying to do and have the exact same idea, especially because I used to coach Jay. Now he's on my team, so I don't really coach him that much, but like we still talk a lot about bucket stuff. And it's like we have a lot of the same ideas because we've sort of, even though we're different players, like we've been learning bucket together for the most part. And yeah, you need to be really actively participating in the game and coming up with ideas on the fly to play with someone who's playing the same exact weapon as you, especially as a midline. I think, honestly, it's a really good learning exercise. But yeah, it really puts you into the mindset of not autopiloting to play that you know usually works and realizing the play that needs to actually happen.
Fair enough. I don't disagree with any of that. We're approaching the 2.5 hour mark, so I'm gonna give you guys one more question.
Sorry.
No, all I want is this to not somehow supersede the freaking like endgame episode we did like a year ago, where it was like DRF, Snow, and Krona yapping for like 3.5 hours. That's the.
Oh my god, yeah.
Wait, so we technically have another hour that we could go on before
I'm leaving.
All right, let's do the format discussion again. I'm on it, guys. I'm on it.
Part 2.
We're already on part 7, man. Like,
yeah, I could talk forever. Like, I think we should start a podcast.
The what podcast?
The wet podcast.
The wettest podcast.
For those who don't know, we used to be on a team together back in the Div 7 days, back when we were all FTIU eligible.
Mm-hmm.
Hard stuck round 1 gold bracket. The wet laundry moment about a year ago. Let's
7
go!
in a row! 7 in a row!
Are any of us still
It
eligible?
was impressively consistent.
Did we all get banned?
I don't think so.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
We're all growing.
Yeah.
One of them got low level
Yeah.
bans.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Fox.
One of them's like plus level, basically. Dude's goated.
This guy is literally Faker, actually.
He's actually a fraud. Yeah, someone else. He's been handing the controller to his cat the entire time.
I'm just a lowly Div 7 player, what can I say?
Don't disrespect the Div 7 players, okay, man? They're out here
I'm
grinding.
disrespecting myself and only myself.
Yeah, your former Div 7 self.
Last question. Oma,
Right,
take it away.
Okay.
So, let's look to the spring, right? I mean, fall season was crazy for you all. You have a lot of energy, and hopefully you hope to carry a lot of that momentum into the spring, either with bringing on just new club members to your group, or just like continuing to try to perform as best as you can, right? So, do you believe that there will be high tensions to maintain the VCU dominance over the CCA for the upcoming spring events, like entrance exam and the league? And I don't know, just what are your thoughts on that?
I think there will be.
CCAS is chilling, man. CCAS is chilling.
Yeah.
Being chilling. Yeah, no, I think if I were to do a little bit of a prediction, we're probably gonna get a little bit complacent. We're probably gonna be on our high horse for a minute, and then we're gonna get slapped down by somebody, and it's gonna be very tragic and very sad. We're gonna be very butthurt, and it's gonna suck. But you know, we have to go through our character arc, you know. I'm very, very excited to see who can embarrass us the most.
I'll give you insider info. I will give you insider info. Like, this is my school. This is my school's team. The school doesn't care about us. We don't get anything from them winning. So for me, them losing, if you give me money to make it happen, I'm the real winner in that scenario. All I'm saying, like, so
VCU gives us anything, by the way. It's crazy. They need to give us stuff.
No, they don't give us anything. They literally don't care. Like, team wins the entire league, wins several LAN events for Collegiate, another team wins a division, all 4 teams are finalists, nothing. Crickets. Anyway, I'd say for the rest of us
stuff? Just like quick side tangent.
I mean, I think one of their teams was able to actually get to a LAN. Or see like some big event. I can't remember if it was League or Valorant.
No, it's either Valorant or Overwatch.
Okay, yeah. But like some of their other teams that have been successful in other esports have gotten some stuff, but like we don't even have facilities. I think they're cooking it, but it's like I think if they make facilities, they literally wouldn't even bother to set it up in a way that could facilitate Splatoon happening. Like
I will say
it is difficult
historically,
to set that up, but
historically, I don't know if I've ever seen a venue that can support Splatoon. Every venue I go to, they're like firewalls. They're like no space for switches. You can't unplug the computer. It's like if you want to play Splatoon at the venue, you actually have to do like some sort of satanic ritual. Like there is no other explanation. Like colleges hate console players. I don't know. It's like
you got the candles.
Yeah, we got the candles, but anyway, I'd say for the rest of our teams coming up for the spring semester, things could be interesting. We might end up taking a few new players. It's possible I'm going to be a part-time student next semester. I'm probably going to have to this might be like a news drop for some people because I haven't talked about this because I've been trying to find the time after finals are over and I still technically have a paper to write. So but anyway, yeah, no, I'm going to be a part-time student next semester, so luckily I run the club with like a group of people, so things logistically shouldn't change too much, but I'm still waiting on the school to let me know if I could actually play or not next semester. It's entirely possible that I won't be able to play with Goomies. The direction things would be headed in the spring is I think we might do an interest check for some tryouts just to see like how many people have really showed up that have been motivated, because we've had at least one person who showed up and has been incredibly motivated to play. And I'd say
that's always been how we've done it. Just like, if you are motivated to play and we have enough interest in that, how could we deny you a team? And we mentioned the player earlier that on their own went and was like, oh yeah, I missed out on tryouts, I'm getting on a team, I'm finding a team, I will do this. And like if that person is interested, like try to make it work. Like that's the goal.
Like I don't think there's going to be a cap on how many teams that we have, so long as there's enough motivated people. At VCU, not every single person makes it onto a team for one reason or another, but if we have like tryouts and we have like 5 motivated people who, you know, are really interested in learning the game, but there's no space for them, like how could we deny them a team? I think our only don'ts when it comes to taking new teams is we don't want to force a situation. We're not going to force a team where there's only 4 players and they're all new, because that's volatile. And we're not going to force team situations with people who don't seem motivated for competitive, because that could also be volatile as well. But if there's enough interest, like we want to support that. Like my goal with this club is to help people who are kind of like autistic and ADHD and like socially awkward and don't like to go out to the club and hang out with like all the cool gay people, and want to hang out with the weird gay people instead and stay inside and play their video games. Like I want to facilitate a place for people like me, people who are like that, to make friends and learn the game and like invest in a community. So I don't want to deny that opportunity to anybody if I have the option to give it to them. I guess I would say like one final thing for the direction at VCU. I think there's sort of a shift in how things have worked this past season because of us expanding the number of teams. And I think each team has a sort of unique vibe and a unique culture. Big Fat Sea Cows is interesting in the fact that most of their players play together outside of CCA, but then we have players like Fockz and Havoc who have sort of stepped up to sub in and learn to play with them. But really, they're all like mid-level to above players who have come together and play the game often, and they practice occasionally to make CCA work. Goomies is a team where initially we thought that it was going to be like, you know, we're kind of grinding out for CCA and we're motivated in that, right? But it turned out that everyone who's playing on Goomy's final roster, me, Dakari, Rare, and Jay, we all have teams outside of CCA. And it got to a point where we were also invested in practicing with our separate teams individually, that we basically come together as a pickup for CCA. We practice together a little bit, and I'm fortunate that I have a team that is good enough and willing enough to adapt and learn on the fly to form a cohesive team for CCA. And then you have Spirality, who is just like on that CCA grind. Other than one of their members, Amber, who has recently found a non-CCA team, Like, they've been grinding together and learning this game together and doing VOD reviews and been solely CCA focused. This is sort of what Goomies was in former seasons. So they're sort of taking on that spot of the more grind-heavy, collegiate-focused team. They play FCIU together occasionally, and they've been working really hard. And then Shadow Warriors, last but not least, is a team that is also entirely CCA focused, but they're a little bit more laid back. They've done some VOD reviews and they have put in the work, but I'd say that for the most part, they come together to play the game and to scrim occasionally, but they're not grinding out FCIU the way Spirality is, but they're still working hard. I think they're like, Spirality is like the grindy team, and then Shadow Warriors is a lax team, but they both love the game and they both put in the effort. So yeah, that's VCU culture right now.
No, great to hear it. Krona's holding a gun at my head. Off screen.
I could see it. I could see it sort of peeking out the corner.
Yeah, he doesn't want his record to be broken, unfortunately. But
we can let him have that.
Yeah. For now. Wet podcast next week, right?
Podcast. Yeah. Next one though. 5 hours.
5 hours.
5 hours.
I'm about to faint, y'all.
In time, no, you're not. I've heard you yap for longer. Don't look at me like that.
Okay, we could do like 4.5, I guess.
We could do 4.5. Entire tournament run length of time. We should all commentate a tournament together, but we just talk over it.
Okay, SOS run, that's a podcast the entire time. We're not allowed to do in-game comms. We're only doing podcasts.
Right. Culture and team branding for the entirety of SOS.
I love it. Oh my gosh. That's fire. But
any final thoughts?
End it before Rocky can talk again.
Any big final thoughts that you want to
Thank you, CCA. Thank you, CCA. Thank you, CCA staff. Awesome. We love you.
I would not be doing it if it were not for y'all. Like, absolutely. Thank you.
So many of us. Like, CCA has like literally changed the trajectory of my life, sort of.
Oh no, literally. Holy crap.
I could still be playing League of Legends if it wasn't for CCA.
Oh, no.
So. Thank God for CCA, man.
I'm a recovered addict. We'd love to see a beautiful story like that.
Heartwarming, truly.
Tears to my eyes. But yeah, I'll go ahead and just take us through a brief final announcement. Once again, no more planned CCA events until we choose to announce them whenever we feel like it, but there will be a spring season. So CCA is not exploding yet, ? But outside of that, we still have the store, getting obligated to plug it, and we have our 10% discount with podcast 10. Feel free to drop that code into your cart at the shop if there's anything that sticks out to you that you'd like to buy, like stickers or shirts, and you'll get a nice little discount on your order. And that will be active through the rest of the night. So if you have any merch you want to pick up, maybe just right before the holidays, feel free to do that. And all right, obligatory announcements aside, that's been us. That's been the squad. I'm so happy we could do this reunion. I've been plotting when I could get all 4 of us together again, unironically, and this this perfectly lined up. I'm like, okay, I have to do it. This is so cool.
What Lundra reunion scrim when?
Yeah,
all I'm saying.
Oh, Jay has been asking. So.
No, Jay has
been begging. Absolutely.
All right, we got to make a group chat for this.
No, call me up.
Anyway,
we have a server, dude. What do you mean a group chat?
It's kind of tucked away in a folder. You guys might need to ping me in DMs.
Today, and I was like, I have never seen the server in my life. I don't know where this came from.
Yeah, I brought that shit back. Anyway, part of my language.
I already did that today, so you're good. You're clear.
All right, is that it?
Well, anything you all want to plug?
Commission me. Commission me.
True.
Commission me.
Follow me on.
They only have $36. They need it.
Literally. Actually.
Yeah, absolutely needs it.
probably less because I bought soda today.
Baja Blast or?
No, they don't have it at the corner store. I have a
We
crippling
can't get on a tangent. We can't get on a tangent. We
Okay,
can't
yeah,
get on a
you need to
tangent.
stop. Commission Rocky.
Follow me on Fox SPL at Blue Sky. That one. I'm not plugging the Twitter because that's evil.
Evil.
Splats Party at Blue Sky. SPLATZ Party.
You can find me on Blue Sky at soapful.inc. Technically on Mastodon if you're a freak like me. At soap at splatsville.social. I think that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you all again for joining me tonight. This was an absolute pleasure and really great conversations, perspectives, and everything too. That's gonna be it. Have a good rest of your night, y'all. This caps off the circuit. It is over. Go to bed. Do something else with your time. We love the friends. Hold up.
You gotta get a friend. You gotta get a friend.
Yeah.
Dude. Blahosh, dude.
Blahosh.
Wait, so...
Yeah, I got you. It's both of them.
Yeah.
So I got your number, bro.
Oh, let's go! Yup.
That's crazy.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
thank you so much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Any closing notes, screen?
Okay.